What's up, and welcome back to the channel. You are listening to Ninja Night. This is Real Talk number 14. 14 episodes of this so far. Absolutely wonderful. And last week's one was an all-time high. Crazy to see the amount of numbers that have been done on that. I think it's nearly 4,000 now on that stream alone. So clearly we're getting bigger, which is thanks to you, the people that are in the chat. Thank you very much as well too to the mods that are here. You guys do an absolutely wonderful job. And thanks to everybody that obviously spreads the word and keeps people informed about what's going on. We can already see there's been a jump in at about 20 listeners now at this moment in time. So I really appreciate that. And I'm sure as time moves on as well too, more people are going to get notifications as well, because I know the shenanigans that be happening on this platform, they don't want you to be talking about what's going on here in Ireland. Ireland has become an absolute hotspot and attention from international media. And when I say international media, the new media, you've got Salty Cracker talking about us. You've got Stephen Crowder talking about us. You've got big channels that have been talking about us for the last while. Now, I will always say that the new channels that have popped up out of nowhere and have become quite large, I would always say be wary of that, because the thing is, from my point of view, is that I've been suppressed, I would say, on this platform for a very long time. And I'm just giving you my viewpoint when it comes to these things. I feel that once I've gotten past the 6,000 subscribers, it started to climb now a lot quicker than it has done before. So I thank everybody that's helped me to do that. Obviously the videos as well too that are being published as well, I'm obviously thinking about them. I'm thinking about what sort of way and what way to frame these things insofar as like with the information that's been given. And again, this platform, you can only do and say so much on it. I'm also on Rumble as well too. I'm also on Odysee. I'm also on BitChute, which is something I actually forgot about until like today. I think it was today or yesterday where I got a notification from BitChute and I was like, I actually forgot that I was on that application, and people are messaging over there. So it's great to see that, and it's great to see people actually hungry for information, and especially information that's coming from Ireland itself, because I've seen a lot of people from around the world that have been talking about Ireland, and I don't think they have quite a, I would say, high understanding of what's been going on for a very long time due to the fact that they don't live here. So I think it's important that voices get out there. And I'm always somebody that promotes and says to people, if you're thinking about doing a YouTube channel, go ahead and do it, particularly if you're on this side of the fence. Listen, if you got a leftist that's on this platform, they got all the push to build. They won't get any views. They won't get any likes. They won't get any sort of engagement. That's what happens with these people. These people are fighting a losing battle now as things stand. People have woken up and risen to what's going on. They've looked at the type of situations that have happened in the last couple of years. And I'm telling you now, lads, the Social Democrats have put something out there this evening that I'm like, whoa, I can't actually believe that you've put that out, given the fact everything that's going on at the moment, and already allegations that had been made about Councillor Owen Hanley. So these things that a lot of people have just woken up to since last week, these things have been going on for a very long time. And people like myself and others that are out there have been looking and have been talking about it for the last couple of years. So I'm sure I got a number of messages as well that said, I only found your channel, going to binge watch everything that you do. And I was like, that's great. Now I know as well too, people will be looking back at some of the stuff that I've done over the last while and they'll be like, this channel's all over the place, it's wild. Yes, it is. Welcome to the new listeners. This is a wild channel where I'll be talking about all sorts. But I do think now, with the way things are moving with the channel, I think we probably should stick to what I'm talking about at the moment. So I probably will set up a second channel eventually at some stage to talk about things that I find interesting, like in my own life in terms of entertainment. I do think it's important though to weave entertainment in and talk about it, because someone's jumping on point might be that, and they might see what else is going on. So we do appreciate that. I'd like to say hello to the chat as well too. We'll jump into that before we see what's going on. And this side of the fence, when I go on to Gab is a great social media app as well too. Obviously, I've been talking about it for a while. There's absolutely no censorship over there, and Twitter seems to be moving in the same direction. It seems to actually be following Gab's lead. Like, I've seen a couple of people, particularly the left. Now, people would say, oh, you're dividing people into right and left. Well, the reason that is, and I'll be blunt when it comes to this, is that you just can't keep calling people evil all the time. It's frowned upon on this application. It's frowned upon on this platform. So that's why people have split it into right and left. You know what I'm saying? That's why people have put the left into that sphere where they can go the left, and everybody really means, yeah, you know what I'm talking about there. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we're on the side of peace, is what I would say. I'd say we're on the side of sensibility. I would say the side of logic and reason. The other side have gone full out and full on mask off this week. They have been talking about beating people. They have been talking in the Shannon Helen McEntee has been sat there with a sour face on her. That woman looks like she's not getting an awful lot of sleep these days, which is a very big positive, I think, because surely now an awful lot of government ministers, and you've seen the panic over the last week since last Thursday evening's events, where they've tried to spin it in the media. But I think now from politicians, this is a different ball game than America, I think, really, to be quite honest. American politicians, I don't think, fear the people at all. I also think the fact is that they have so much security and they have so many people that are willing to protect them that they feel comfortable enough. It's a different story here in Ireland. In Ireland is a small place. I think these politicians know that they're going to be seen in public. And as I always say, approach them peacefully and respectfully is all I say every single time as well. When you're questioning these people, I know people in the chat and people that comment after be like, how can you say that, Ninja? You have to understand that when you do that, and that's what's been effective over the last couple of years, and I'm going to highlight the likes of Philip Dwyer and Gavin Pepper in particular, and also then the Irish Inquiry. I want to give them 3 big shout outs over the last couple of years. They've been absolutely fantastic. These guys are approaching politicians, they're approaching people in management areas, and they are asking them questions. And what's happening is these guys are getting lots of views, and it's very simple stuff. They're not running in abusing anybody. They're not threatening anybody. They're going in and asking simple questions, and the reaction to them has often been hostile. So people look at that and they go, with reason, your man there was only asking questions, and then he's been shoved out the door. What's the story with that? And then they think and apply that then to what is actually happening, which is our borders are being overrun. You've got illegal immigration at an all-time high. You've got immigrants that are coming into the country. It's an all-out invasion, in my opinion. And there doesn't seem to be anybody stopping that. And then when it comes down to situations that occur, then they're going, well, he had mental health problems. Okay, but the same thing doesn't apply then when someone defends themselves then, is that it? Because then they want to call you an istophobe then when that happens. So it's interesting times, and I think right now the Irish government in particular and politicians, I think, are now afraid. I think they're afraid of the electorate because they don't know what's going to happen. There was word there that they're going to table, I think Sinn Féin today tabled a no confidence vote, I should say, in Justice Minister Helen McEntee. And I just said, this is really interesting. I said, maybe about 5-6 months ago, they might have gotten by and they might have gotten her out then. I don't think they will now. I think Sinn Féin are caught between a rock and a hard place because guess what? If they start getting into the thing is, if she goes, by the way, it means then the general election, from what I understand, is at hand, and that could start in and around early 2024. I don't think Sinn Féin are going to try and do that. I think, listen, my opinion is this, and something that people have been saying over the last while, is that we have a uniparty. So when you see what's happening in America, where you've got 2 different parties and they're basically the same, and they don't hold each other accountable at all. Now, of course, people would say, well, the blue side holds the red side more accountable than the red side do the blue side. And I would agree when it comes to that, because people have been pointing out that for the last few years. But here in Ireland, we have Sinn Féin, and Sinn Féin are the opposition. Sinn Féin have been one of the weakest, if not the weakest, opposition of all time. They let people's rights, freedoms, and civil liberties be taken away without any sort of hustle or hassle when it came to that. But they're all for Palestine. They're all mad out there now for Palestine, gigs for Palestine, walk with Palestine, all this sort of stuff there. But when it came to the stuff being taken away from you, like the likes of your rights, freedoms, civil liberties over the sniffles, Sinn Féin nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Hate speech laws, they've members of Sinn Féin there voting for them. Members of Sinn Féin have been online and they have been absolutely going doolally, because these people have been saying things online that are far left talking points and radical left talking points. And these people have been espousing this stuff over the last couple of weeks. So they've gone full mask off there as well. You've got Mary Lou McDonald, whose brother thinks he's a woman. If you don't know about that, have a look into that. There's a lot of allegations that have been made about Mary Lou's sister as well too, working for a pharmaceutical company. And you've got then Ono Brun, who is with Lynn Boylan. I don't think they're married. I think they're just together. They are, but see the different surnames as well too would throw you off the scent when it comes to that. He doesn't know what a woman is. Couldn't say it there outside the doll. This is supposed to be the mastermind to fix housing, by the way. You've got Michelle O'Neill up above there in Northern Ireland, who is thoroughly disliked there. You've got the likes of Mary Lou there that wants to pander to the group there in June, but also then pander to a group then that absolutely are totally conflicting with the group in June in terms of the religion of peace, of course. So you've got people there that don't really know what they're doing. And then, I think they do. I think some of the stuff that they do is just too stupid to be stupid. And what you have now is, I think, Sinn Féin in panic mode. That situation happened in East Wall, and I'll show you here tonight because we have the videos. That situation that happened in East Wall, I think the face that Mary Lou McDonald pulled when she was getting into the car looking at the people there was one of fear, and I think of realization that, oh, this isn't going away. When you're out there trying to be this champion of the people, and the fact that you'll talk to the people and then you refuse to talk to the people, you scuttle away in a government car and get away as soon as possible without answering any questions, that doesn't look like a person of the people, you see. And whereas you get the likes of Philip Dwyer, when a crowd is anywhere and Philip Dwyer walks into a crowd, he's welcomed with open arms. When Gavin Pepper walks towards a crowd, he's welcomed with open arms. When you've got the likes of Satirical Soldier as well too, the Irish Git, the Irish Inquiry, when they walk towards a crowd, they're welcomed with open arms. The same with GT as well. All of these people, Toby as well too. Big shout out to Tots Toby there, Toby on Twitter, doing a wonderful job. And Mick O'Keefe as well too. Now some of the stuff, and this is how you know we're winning. When this side is winning, the media go into overdrive and go into panic mode. And what they have tried to do in the last 24 to 48 hours is they've tried to smear absolutely everybody. It's not worked though, because nobody cares. When you call someone a white supremacist, everyone just looks and goes, well, that person's obviously doing something that the establishment don't like. The apparatus as well too came fully after Gript as well this week. So Gript made a boo-boo, according to them, and they reported on something that they said that was bad information that they were given, which is interesting, because then that leads a scene, they said, from what I could read from that there. Again, I'm going to paraphrase this because I'm not going to quote directly. I'm not sure exactly because I haven't got the article in front of me. But from what I could understand, they said a senior justice figure. If I'm mistaken about that, let me know in the chat there, that they said that gave them that information. So if that information was fed to them on purpose and it was incorrect, well, that is a serious problem. And to me as well, towards the end of our article, Gript kind of made a comment as if it was like, well, if we find out this to not be true, we're going to name who it was. That's what it seemed like to me, allegedly, speculatively. So that's an interesting thing. So what's happened online for the last couple of days? Well, the media and media members have spent the last couple of days attacking Gript, attacking Ben Scallon, attacking John McGurk, attacking Fatima Gunning, I think is the surname of that lady. They've been attacking them all. So there's a lesson to be learned, I suppose, and this is what the government, I was saying, we will learn lessons on this. There's lessons to be learned about this. They said this about last Thursday evening, by the way. There's lessons to be learned about the riots. What about the kids that were attacked? Are you going to learn any lessons with regards to that? Have you stopped the border at all? Well, so I should say, have you closed the border at all? Have you implemented any vetting processes now at all? No. Have you set up a squad there to deport people that should be deported out of this country? Have you contacted governments around the world where criminals are now being housed in our country and had said to them, hey, guys, how about you take these guys back? Have you done that at all in last week? Oh, you haven't? What have you done? You've went on to Virgin Media and RTE and called people far right and said that they're racists. Good idea. That's a good move there, guys. You've done wonderful stuff there. That's really clever stuff. So they're in trouble. And what has happened is now the entire apparatus has decided to attack Gript, and they've said, oh my God, guys, you've gotten bad information on that there. You're liars. You have no ethics. You have nothing of note there in that little article of yours. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, the entire apparatus that just lies, cheats, and steals every single day and demonizes you and average normal people have the gall, they have the audacity to say this about Gript. And in fairness now to John McGurk, he was quoting a couple of them and saying, like, sure, you ran this story and you ran that story. You've got Kitty Holland that's been wheeled out on BBC. I was amazed. Lads, listen, Kitty Holland was wheeled out on BBC talking about far right along with Hazel Chew. Two of the most idiotic people that have to be walking around this country right now. If I was running this country right now, Hazel Chew would be deported so fast out of this country she wouldn't know what would be going on. She'd be deported back to China along with her family, all the way back to China and stripped of the citizenship tomorrow. That's what I would do if I was running this country. That woman is one of the worst people to ever set foot in this country. And the fact that she gets airtime, not only in Ireland, and this is a person, by the way, that failed in an election to get into the Shannon, by the way. That's that type of person that you have there. The Green Party even distanced themselves from her. The Green Party, who's who of complete imbeciles. And they said, oh no, we can't go near her. Because guess what? She kept spouting off nonsense online and people picked her up on it and people challenged her on it. And this rhetoric of Irish people are anti-this and anti-that and istophobe this and istophobe that. Like, this woman comes from a country that totally embraces communism. Like, this is where we're at right now. And she's then talking down to you. Who does she think she is? And this is a woman, by the way, that can't even speak eloquently. She can't speak properly. She's no clue how to speak. And people are insulting how she speaks in the comments on Twitter, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And if anybody takes issue with the fact that people are taking the mick out of our accent, ask Micheál Martin what he thinks about that. Because remember, Micheál Martin not too long ago as well too was doing a Chinese accent when he was out abroad. So if that's okay, well then that's certainly all right then for anybody else then to be taking the mick out of that. Like, this is the sort of stuff and the sort of people that we have running around in Ireland and have in positions. This is a person that was Lord Mayor of Dublin. She shouldn't have never been around the place. Incredible. And when I say that, she shouldn't have been Lord Mayor of Dublin. But the fact that they keep trying to push her in different things, she was pushed onto a debate there, I think, with John McGurk. She was sitting there looking like Miss Piggy. She was like Fat Barbie sitting there with a big pink jacket on her? What was a treble XL, was it? And then her husband, by the way, because here's another thing that people don't know. Her husband's called Patrick Costello. He's a Green Party member. So everybody has to realise this, by the way, too, that she goes on her name, on the Chew name, and then she distances herself then from Patrick Costello. She's still on the gravy train by the fact that the fella that she's with has a seat. He needs to go next. He's the next one that needs to go and needs to be taking the seat off of democratically, as I'll always say. And these people need to be replaced by nationalists. You are seeing politicians that are very long in the tooth now here in this country, and they are now starting to leave. I said it a while ago when Richard Bruton was on the way out, he wouldn't be the only one. And a fella there during the week, I think it was a Fergus O'Dowd, again, opened the correction on the name there, walked away as well too. It was like, I won't be contesting in the next election. I think Drogheda as well too, as far as I know. They said the local shinner that's there won't be contesting the next election. These people are running scared. These people understand, and these people should absolutely 100% understand that when nationalists and patriots get into government, they're not only going to be held accountable for this open border policy, they're going to be held accountable for the sniffles nonsense too, because their names are down on those ballots, they are forevermore, and they are recorded. Going to be interesting times. Paul Murphy, who's another mouthpiece as well too for the left as well. This is a fella that's going up and slandering people like Mick O'Keefe in the Dáil. It's an absolute disgrace, it is. With the likes of people before profit that poll so low and yet still retain seats in government, it's inexplicable how much airtime these people get. They're absolute fools. This is the moment in time now, and I've been saying it for the last 2 years, I'd say. The fact that Conor McGregor is on the bandwagon now with this side of the fence is amazing. That is the type of person, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, he has boosted the message across the world. The fact that that man has 10 million followers and he's been saying what he's been saying has gotten us to the point that we're in now, where the government don't know what to do. They have no clue because they haven't faced this before, because most celebrities that are out there are powerless to do anything because these people have power over them. Now, I'm going to say this, and I think this is an interesting point, and I think why the government and the media fear Conor McGregor, which is why you hear them and see them. They'll all go on about the allegations that haven't been proven. He hasn't been convicted for anything. They'll all go on about that, they will, because that's the number one thing that these people do with powerful individuals that they don't like to make accusations about them. What I think is happening here right now is, and this is something I'm going to speculate about, allegedly, speculatively, I think McGregor knows things. And how would you not when you're running in similar circles? How would you not know certain things that are going on with those people and what their activities are and what they're up to and who they're hanging around with? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why these people really fear them, because they're like, this fella gets personally does at press conferences. I've seen the press conferences, and whatever you might think of Conor McGregor, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, the fact of the matter is this is a guy that sits in press conferences and absolutely goes personally with the opponents that he has. Do you think that that guy is going to sit back and say nothing with these politicians with what they do? That's not going to happen. You've got Tony McGregor, who's Conor McGregor's dad there, by the way, when Adon or Reardon. And I have to say, I have to give Tony a bit of credit here when he called him Amadon or Reardon. And he was talking about how his seat could be under threat and he would rue the day when he said something about Conor McGregor. And I said, well, that's interesting now. These are messages that are being sent and these people now are definitely running scared. Adon O'Riordan is one of the biggest leftists that's going out there. This is a refugees welcome merchant that didn't want to talk to the people. Remember the snooty response that he gave to Grips? These things are all receipts. These things have all been recorded when he was standing there in Fairview and he was like, sure, why would I talk to the people of Eastwall? Totally looking down his nose at people. Him standing out there with a load of other goofballs, about 100 of them going, refugees are welcome here. How many of them live in your house? How about that? Oh, I don't have the space. That's what these all say. Ridiculous stuff. So anyway, I'll jump into the chat because I'm at the going on for 23 minutes there without an interruption. So before I jump into the rest of it, next week the stream will be on Thursday at 8 p.m. I think I'm going to switch the times, guys, by the way, from 7:30 to 8 p.m. I think it just suits a little bit better. Quick sip of a drink. If you hear me not talking for a few seconds, it's generally the fact that I'm wetting the whistle. With Frank Barron in here, it says Irish lives matter. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, up the north, that's considered hate speech now, isn't it? This is where we're at now, guys. You know, you got guys that are coming into the country doing whatever they please, and Irish lives matter. That's the thing that's been under the cosh for the last couple of days. BBC been reporting on that, but everybody knows with the BBC, by the way. If you didn't know about the BBC from the last couple of years, what they did with regards to the Tate brothers, that'll actually let you know what they're all about too, by the way. Vaughn Malone says, hello all. Happy to see you're on tonight. Ninja says, the shouting potato. Refusing exchange in here says, evening all. Frank Barron says, we are the boys of Wexford who fought with heart and hand to burst in twain the galling chains and free our native land. Awesome. Liz Pepper says, does anyone think last Thursday events were staged in the evening? There's definitely been a lot of talk about that, and what I would say is, I know that Gemma particularly gets an awful lot of flack, but some of the stuff I had to say from people that have been on the ground and have been there has been interesting to witness. You know, the fact is, it's over a week, okay, and I'm going to talk about this in the stream, and I suppose I'll talk a little bit about it now. It's been a week now. There's been no interviews with any families that have been involved with what happened to the kids, which is extremely strange. I know that they're trying to use there's an ongoing case there, and we can't talk about that at all. But what have the Journal been doing in the week? They've been going around to immigrants there that are working in Dublin city centre and getting a puff piece there out of them to say how these immigrants are afraid. So they can go around and ask these people how they're feeling, because a couple of people burnt out some cars and a bus and kicked in the windows of Foot Locker, and they can't go out and interview any of the families. It's very strange, isn't it? So when you see stuff like that, you go, Then you got the likes of the Garda cars that were abandoned. From my view, in my opinion, it seemed like they were left unlocked, you know, which is another strange thing to happen. And then there was a number of instruments that were around in the area that just lined up a little too well. And let's not make any bones about it like this. You've seen the playbook played in America, where they have agitators, where they have people that go in and do things. We've seen it as well too with the likes of January 6th. There's a guy called Ray Epps. If you haven't seen him, have a look into him. The Americans, by the way, had no interest in looking into Ray Epps, and he's on video saying things that were pretty interesting. They had zero interest in him until people kept talking about it, and they were like, hang on here, this guy's saying something strange. You've imprisoned other people that have done far less. These people are just walking around the place, and your man there is actually calling for people to do some radical stuff there. What's the story with that? So when you see that and you apply what's going on in America, I personally think that this sort of stuff is happening around the world. I'm in France there last week. So if you're not familiar with what's going on in France, there was a 16-year-old that was attacked. I think that 16-year-old is no longer with us. Again, open the correction on this one. There was an incident there, we'll just say. Hang on just for a sec. Just still have to... So there was an incident in France. And what happened was, the French people decided to get together and do a few protests. And again, peaceful stuff. No messing. All good. And what has been the result since then? Well, the French, who apparently voted for Emmanuel Macron, which is also another strange thing, because this is a fella that goes into football stadiums and gets booed. Anywhere he goes, he gets booed. He seems to be thoroughly disliked. And a lot of French people have had enough. So, what have the French done? Well, what are they getting to do now? They're saying, oh, look what happened in Dublin. Well, guess what? We're going to start breaking up these far-right meetings. So once they label someone far-right, this is where the danger comes from. These people then decide, okay, we're going to be able to use police then to go in and arrest people for only having meetings, and then who are planning protests. And these people use it under the guise of they were going to get violent. How do you know that? This isn't Minority Report. Minority Report is a film starring Tom Cruise, and it's about people that are able to see crimes before they happen. Nobody possesses that technology here. And that is fascism, by the way. So when the left go on and talk about, we're going to have to target the fash there ain't nobody more fascist than the left-hand side. These people are out there telling you that they want you jailed for memes. They're out there telling you they want you jailed for an opinion that they disagree with. Words that you've written on the internet. That's what they want you in jail for. So, to me, when you see what's happening in France, France is another interesting case. It's another litmus test as well, too, to see how much the French people are going to take. And as well, too, here in Ireland. Now, the only thing about here in Ireland is, and I think the difference between us and the French and between mainland Europe in general is, most police there across in mainland Europe are actually armed. They're starting to move that type of way here, by the way. Have you not seen that? Oh, we're putting watchtowers in O'Connell Street. Or we're giving them dog units. We are. It's a pity you won't secure the borders, though. We're also then, we're going to get water cannons down from Northern Ireland. Okay, right. Again, would these resources and the money that's been spent on that not be better than if you had like an immigration task force team or a deportation team? That might actually give people a little bit more confidence in you. But no, you're doing the stupid stuff because you don't want to be conceding any ground. But in fact, by doing something stupid, you're conceding ground. Like everybody saw it last week, there was a guy running around with an old Georgian Kencho. He was running around with an old machete. And people are looking at that going, oh my God. So the Gardaí were all around the place to wear Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they buzzed off after that then. Is that correct? Is that what happened? Because now they're back to the old talking point. We need to get more police on the street there now for Christmas. Not for criminality. No. No, the shops and the shopkeepers don't feel very safe. I'm not surprised. Have you gone in there lately? Anyway, so last Thursday's events, interesting stuff to see what will happen. Sorry, guys, if you hear me muting or anything like that for a second, it's because I still have this old illness that's going on. This man flu is taking a bit of time out of me. Let's keep going anyway. I'm going to see what's going on. People are agreeing there in the chat there as well. Fair play to Gavin Pepper, by the way. He's come out swinging when it comes to these things as well. You know, he's doing great work. Johanna Thornfelt is in here, says more than all. Frank Barnes says Conor McGregor for Taoiseach. You got a nice shout from GT recently, says Karen Barnes. Yeah, GT's very much so giving the shout outs. I'm appreciating that. You know, it's unbelievable. Remember, even not too long ago, himself and Dave Cullen, I think, were talking, and I got mentioned in it, and I was like, wow, like that's unbelievable. Jack Galligan says, good man, Ninja, you're a legend. Ireland is ours. Absolutely. Much appreciated there, and I agree with you. Ivor Cummins interviewed on Redacted. GG says hi to all the Garda in the chat. I will say what I want to anyone I want, regardless of any laws. And if you call to my home, I will call to yours. Fact. I just have a message there for anyone that's off the left and anyone that wants to mess about with regards to that. This is for you.
Red belts. Conor belt. Red belts. Conor belt. Blue lips. Breathe, kid. Take a breath. Get the shit out of there, man. Shut your mouth. Ali Abdulaziz. Mad terrorist. Terrorist snitch. I know a lot about you as well, you mad rat. I know a lot about you as well. You keep your mouth shut, kid. Let me take my picture. How's Noah? How's Noah, huh? Yeah, shut your mouth. Never speak about me, ever in your life. Watch yourself around me, because you'll be out here quick. Here, hold on, let me get my pose and my belt and my suit. August McGregor coming soon. Fuck you! Connor, over here, please. Connor, one shot here. Fool! Don't come at the king! Don't ever come at the...
That one at the end there, that's what it's all about. That's exactly what it's all about. Letting them know where it's at. An interesting thing that's happened this week as well too. Elon Musk has said something similar. We'll see that later on tonight. That's been some very, very interesting and well needed content there from Elon Musk. Much appreciated on that. We've got the great Ferg Power in here in the chat. That's another man that should be running in his local area as well, and I'm sure hopefully he will. Ferg says, Ninja Night evening, you beautiful patriots. Just lit a turf fire. Eamon Ryan will probably call my name out in the dog for incitement to climate change. God bless all in this fight. Erden Gubra. Absolutely wonderful to hear that. Absolutely wonderful to hear that. Hope you're keeping yourself warm. Hope you're keeping yourself toasty. These people are gone full on in now with the climate nonsense. Leo Varadkar locked his replies today on his Twitter. This is a guy with an awful lot of followers, but is now locking replies. And he was pictured with Tony Blair. Isn't that interesting? Isn't Tony Blair an alleged war criminal? I don't know about you, but certainly when people are talking about people being pictured with certain individuals and talking to certain individuals, I'm looking at that going, just look at who they're pictured with. Soldier for Christ says your videos are always good, lad. Easy, see all the work and production put in. Thanks very much. Listen, this is a Gonzo production. I make no bones about that. That this is a very big, it's a very big Gonzo production for sure. Hartley Hare says if the hate speech bill goes through, where will people of our like minds be able to question and get answers? The thing is, what's happening right now is 100% Orwellian, and they are trying to close in on people as much as possible. The thing that I will always remind people is this: we don't have the prison space for people. Now, I know that the likes of when you look at the sniffles stuff that happened over the last couple of years, that was indeed the litmus test to see what people would do and if they would go somewhere. If they try and shove them into a hotel, if they try and shove them into a camp like they did in Australia, they're trying to see if that stuff would fly. Now, I was talking to a couple of people this week, particularly younger people, and without much prompting, I was talking about issues that have been happening around the world. And these people then start openly then saying to me, well, what happened over the last couple of years with the government with regards to the sniffles was bang out of order. And I'm not joking with you. I was really surprised to hear that, because I said to myself, I thought people had been fully captured on that and nobody was talking about that anymore and that they were going to forget about it. And I was looking and I was saying, okay, so tell me a little bit more. And they were saying, well, we think that a lot of heart issues that have been happening and the likes of the suddenlies that have been happening, particularly with young people, are related to the Voldemort. And I was like, that's interesting now to see that that's coming around. And again, don't forget as well too that whilst people are annoyed about the immigration issue, people are still annoyed about what happened with regards to that, and they should be, because that is a despicable thing that happened in this country and around the world. Let's not forget that these world governments colluded to do these things to people and had them locked in their homes. They did for as long as they did, and they didn't want them to come out until people said, no, I have enough of this. Now, I know that took a little while as well too to get going with regards to people saying enough is enough with that one. But this situation here has gotten to fever pitch much quicker. So does it favour the government for them to do what they're doing right now? Sure, because look at the type of stuff that they've done since then. They've talked openly about beating people in the street. You've got a Fianna Fáil, is it a Fianna Fáil councillor? We'll be looking at this guy tonight anyway. We've got a Fianna Fáil councillor that's been saying things that are pretty outrageous too. And you've got them in the Shannon, and the Shannon is taking and saying weird things, and these people have gone full mask off. So we'll look into it now. But before we do, let's take a peek into clown world as to what's going on here in Ireland. Let's have a look at this. So, situation is so bad in Ireland that a satirical site, a site that tells jokes, that makes headlines that are opposite of what's going on, obviously, that take the mick out of what's happening, are taking the absolute mick out of Ireland, and in particular Leo Varadkar. The Babylon Bee. This has gotten, as you can see, 1.3 million views. Now, that is devastating to a government. It is devastating to politicians here in Ireland. And if you think that this isn't going to happen to Sinn Féin, it absolutely will. If they get in, people are going to highlight the fact of the things that I've said, like the likes of Mary Lou's brother, like the fact that Ona Brun doesn't know what a woman is. It's going to be even more so out there. The thing with Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil is that they're playing a game at the moment, and they are pretending that they're not as woke and as leftist as the others. Well, I'm telling you now, guys, if you think the information situation that's happening right now isn't going to happen with the others, it definitely will. Ireland declares asking an immigrant to stop doing this you a hate crime. 34.7k likes. This is where it's at now. Twitter has been taken over by our side of the fence. You've got people now that are saying we're going to leave Twitter. You've got the media that are openly out there saying we're going to get off Twitter now. We've had enough. You've admitted defeat. But you've not only admitted defeat just now. You admitted defeat when you start locking replies. You've admitted defeat when you decided to try and demonize people because they were in the majority and you were in the minority. Now, my thing is, when you look at the likes of the Stoics, for example, and the Stoics have said beforehand that those that like to think about what's going on should think critically about what's happening instead of finding themselves in the ranks of the insane. And what we have had over the last couple of years is a number of people that have sat and have thought, no, I'm going against the grain. People have lost friendships. People have lost family members with regards to how they think and how they feel over the last few years because of the fact that they pointed things out and they had enough love and enough care to tell people the truth. There's way too many people out there that are comfortable with lying. We as a civilization and as a society are far too comfortable with telling people lies instead of telling them uncomfortable truths. This is where we're at. And you have to look at the likes of even sports. Sports do it, and that has an awful lot of sway on people, where managers are forced, for example, to come out and tell lies. Instead of coming out and telling the truth and telling people honestly what's going on, they tell lies, and everybody can see that. And everybody then repeats it. So what you have here now is the Babylon Bee taking an absolute mick out of Leo Varadkar, which is phenomenal, and I'm sure he'd be devastated to see that, because that man is absolutely 100% up himself. We've got 246 people in here tonight. Thanks very much for joining the stream here tonight. That's really appreciated. That's a big number. It is. Our numbers are growing, so thanks again. What I have here is this. Okay. This got shared to me today by Noel from Noel's Own. Okay. And he's a chap that does talk about Doctor Who in particular. He's been chronicling what's been going on with Doctor Who and how they've put an awful lot of woke stuff in that. I was just like, my thing is always this. Doctor Who is such, in my opinion, a big show for people for over the years. The fact that they've absolutely destroyed that from within says an awful lot. And these other entertainment properties, they've staved off that a little bit, and Doctor Who has gotten the full brunt of it. And people have watched that and they've been like, whoa, and they've dipped in the ratings. But anyway, going back to this here. So, the Social Democrats, who aren't too interested in talking about Councillor Owen Hanley anymore, they've no opinion of it, they've nothing to say, they won't respond to it either, is Owen Hanley, by the way, under a Garda investigation. So you've heard the media and you've heard politicians over the last week saying, we're going to investigate people. Are you investigating Owen Hanley? Are you investigating people as well too that have very serious accusations been levelled at them when it comes to the likes of kids and stuff like that? No, you haven't. Okay, that's interesting, isn't it? It's almost like people are starting to open their eyes to what's going on, isn't it? Well, here's what you have here. The Social Democrats, not being happy with doing stupid things, have decided to do something even more stupid here. And they have this individual who's calling himself Saoirse. Now, this is a profile on Twitter. And we've got Transformer, she, her. Okay, because that's why they put the pronouns in the bio, by the way. It's just that they can use this reality-defying technique of saying, if I use the pronouns of she, her, well, then I am totally a woman. Look at the head of this individual, you know, and the glasses and everything as well, too. Munster rugby referee, LE24 candidate Cork City, NW, Sock Dems, public speaker, cyclist, Cork Cycling Crew, founder, Trans Pride Cork. So this is where we're at, guys. And someone said it recently, when America coughs, it blows along the wind over to here. And for 5 years, we kind of leave it as it is. And then we realize, oh, we're doing the exact same thing as America here. This is incredible. This is one of the worst times that these people could have unveiled this individual. Had they done this last year, people would have went, okay, that's a bit nutty, that is, but sure, look. And then you would have had people on this side of the fence that would have said, look what they're at. They're trying to okay this sort of nonsense here. And you've got a person that would have been probably committed to a padded cell about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, definitely 20 years ago. And now they're running for an election. And the Social Democrats are out here proudly posting this. Like, Social Democrats, do you not realise that those allegations about Owen Hanley are coming back to bite you, and they're going to come back to bite you again? And then when you do a stunt like this, people again question that and they go, hang on here for a sec. What's the story with you guys? What's the story with you employing and putting these people into these positions? My opinion is this. There'd be nothing better to see the Social Democrats have absolutely no representation come the next election. Nobody should be voting for these people. You are going to get goofballs that are going to vote for them. You get the goofballs that are online. There's a couple of goofballs that are in Ireland as well too. One goofball in particular that likes to stalk me. And this is a person that's friends with all people like this. Now, what they do is they group together and send each other DMs then to try and dogpile you. But it doesn't work anymore because they're just laughed out of the place. And they get really irate when you just take the mick out of them and laugh at them. And tell them a few home truths as well. But they're the type of people, that's a little section of the population that will believe and support this sort of stuff. It is important now to show people and tell people about the people like this guy that are trying to get involved in the likes of women's sports as well too, because I've no doubt in my mind that this fella's going to probably try and get involved in women's sports. I mean, it's only a matter of time because they do it in America, they do it here, and that this guy then is going to be out there saying all sorts of stuff. This is peak clown world. this wouldn't have happened in Ireland 20 years ago. There's no way this would have happened. But an awful lot of it is down to the likes of entertainment. I mean, you talk to most women as well too, and particularly women that they consume the likes of the celebrity culture and the Kardashians. They look at this sort of stuff and they think it's normal. But why do they think it's normal? Well, that's because of Bruce Jenner. It was all normalized to them a very long time ago. And it has been repeated to them over years as well too, that this is totally normal behavior. You should totally accept it. And now they've gotten to the point now where women are being pushed out of their own sports. They've been pushed out of their own song categories. They've been pushed out of everywhere by dudes. Now, that's how far feminism has gone. It's gone well for us, hasn't it? And this is where we're at. Honoured they've been selected tonight as the Social Democrats candidate for the 2024 local government elections in Cork City Northwest over the past more than 100 years since the foundation of the Irish state. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have been more. So it goes on to talk about the different parties there, but 167 likes with 23,000, we'll just say, we'll round it up there to 24,000 views, isn't great. Now, it does have 900 followers, so that's actually not bad when you consider Twitter. And of course, then there's been a couple of people then that have quoted that and have said, like, look at what's going on over here. So that's how far Ireland has fallen, and it has fallen into a trap very similar to America where we're doing silly things. Like, you've got a person there that's involved, I think, in the health sphere, I think, in America. And that's a doubt as well, too. That's a doubt for. So anybody that's new to the place as well, too, there's a lot of words that go around here, like doubt for and stuff like that. You'll pick up on it eventually. Now, what I'll do is I'll show you these people as well, too, because these are people that are not important, but certainly are people that need to be viewed. And you have to see this is the left as well, too. The reason why I put these people up is to show you who these people are. And this is something as well, too, that Toby, that Mick O'Keefe, that Derek Bloig from More Than Forced is doing, that Satirical Soldier's doing, that the Irish Git is doing, that Irish Inquiry are doing as well, too, GT, and everybody else that's out there doing what they're doing are showing these people. You've got this person. Now, have a look at the profile picture here, because that's important, because this person dolls himself up in the profile picture. But wait and you see what he actually looks like. Jess Nimwailon. Now, we've talked about it previously, briefly, I would say. But what's happened today is TG Carr and people that are with TG Carr, people that have encountered Philip Dwyer, for example, and they have gone this road, they've gone this route, I should say, where they say the far right don't speak Irish, they don't, and they're professing to be patriots. Okay, well, that's a very interesting thing for TG Carr to say. It's almost like you've gone full mask off there too, guys. It's almost like you guys are far left there as well too. And what have you got? What's your technique? Is to call people far right because they don't speak Irish. Well, here's what I said online, and I said this on Twitter. Again, I'm not going to directly quote, but I'm going to tell you what I meant and the essence of it. For 800 years, the British beat the Irish language out of the Irish people. Since then, successive governments have taught Irish poorly, and the media, along with the government, have cultivated an attitude of negativity towards the Irish language. They regularly talk about scrapping the Irish language, making it something that's not important, taking it away, for example, from An Garda Síochána, which is why we have Drew Harris. They're talking about taking it away from the teaching sector, which means that they're going to have more people from other countries in the teaching sector, which is going to drive down the wages there. But there's people that are too stupid to understand that. And again, that's happening in Garda Síochána as well too, which means that there's going to be foreigners. There is foreigners already in the police force now. And then what you have then is big problems that are going to happen from the here on out. We wouldn't have an awful lot of problems. And in a way, I suppose this is the way you got to look at it. If we did have our Irish language, we wouldn't have the problems that we have. As I said beforehand, I said it last week, Poland and Hungary don't seem to have much issues when it comes to these things. Why? Because they're very nationalistic countries. They also have their own languages, which is super important. The same with Japan. Japan doesn't have an awful lot of these problems. Neither does China. They don't have these problems. People in Western countries that speak English predominantly do. The UK and America has these problems along with us now. So it's very clear and obvious to see what's going on. So in a way, I suppose, in a manner, you have to look at the Irish language and say, well, there should be absolutely more promotion of that, and we should be looking at that for sure. The next thing I'll say is this, and I said this on Twitter as well. It is absolutely part of their plan to try and force people into saying things in Irish online. And what happens there is this. I appreciate people that speak in Irish. I appreciate people speaking in Irish online for sure. But what I don't appreciate and what I understand from the media with the way they're trying to spin it is if you post something in Irish, it is going to not be picked up by anybody else around the world because they don't understand the language. So what I mean by that is it has taken this long for the information to get out about what's happening in Ireland around the world. And that's in English. Never mind if it was in Irish. It would be another 50 to 100 years probably before people understood what was going on here in this country. You have countries around the world that use English as a means of getting information out there. So that means it's in public consumption. And it means then, for example, if it goes to the likes of, we'll just say, just for the lads, Spain or whatever like that, it gets translated into Spanish and they go, oh, look what's going on there. But in the meantime, they still know what's happening because it's done in English. So we find those type of talking points from TG Cahir's presenters to be absolutely disingenuous. And what I think it is it's a stain upon them that they are trying to utilize that as a sort of gotcha. This is the type of situation we're in right now, guys. We've got people that are out there now that are looking to come at it from all different types of angles to try and delegitimize people with genuine concerns. But what you have here is this, and I said I think I sent this as far as to Gavin Pepper, and I said, this is these people. And these people are inherently, in my opinion, they're inherently stupid and they're inherently violent when it comes to this. Because whilst we sit back and we look at this stuff critically and say, that's absolutely wrong like that, these people have no qualms with posting this sort of stuff up online. Has this woman been investigated by An Garda Síochána on it? And this is what I'm saying. This is when you see the likes of the Gardaí and the politicians and the media talking about giving the Gardaí more powers. I absolutely would 100% be against giving the Gardaí more powers and more equipment at their disposal, because I don't think they have proven themselves to be trustworthy. That's my honest opinion. My honest opinion is over the years, we haven't seen something that's trustworthy. We have now seen two Gardaí accounts on Twitter publicly like a far leftist account. This is where we're at. You've got gay Garda cars driving around. That's not political in that sense, but it is political to me, because you look at that and go, you are actually posting out a car. Well, I should say posting out a car. I should say putting out and pushing out a car there that is directly making a move towards one part of the community and telling them that they're more important than another part of the community, or indeed the majority of the community. That's a message being sent. So when you see that, and then you see Gardaí, then that, again, this is the incredible stuff now that was revealed during the week. There was a representative, I think, on one of the shows, I think it might have been on Virgin Media. Again, I'm open to correction on this one, I am. That was talking about Garda members sending around WhatsApps to each other to get into Dublin to try and help out there. What sort of moron and imbecile are you that you're going to send a WhatsApp to another person? That you're bad enough, but the person that picked up that WhatsApp looked at it and said, yeah, I'll go in there. What sort of fool are you? Because when you look at this current situation that is happening, why has none of these government members been arrested for what's happening? This is cut and dry, in my opinion. You look at the government here at the moment, you look at the fact that they've got 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th counts. They're not wanted by the people. To me, they're illegitimate. And the fact is that they've caused so much bother here that they're trying to infringe on constitutional rights. They have openly told you that they're more or less interested in wiping their arses with the Constitution. They are openly out there saying, we'll just put the Constitution aside. But it doesn't shock me, because when you see the behaviour of the Gardaí over the last couple of years, I did a video on Bus Éireann where the man was getting onto a bus and was refused because he wasn't wearing a face nappy, and the driver went apoplectic. And the Garda came along and was talking about putting the statutes and laws aside. You can't do that. You can't do that and then assume then people are going to think that the world of you after the fact. Like, here's the thing. The government and the media have ran around for the last week telling you to feel totally super duper sorry for a Lewis, multiple cars, a bus, and a couple of people getting pucks. Nobody feels sorry about that. You've got people that are out there, the likes of the trade unions that were out there running around during the week going, guys, we're going to have a protest here. We're going to say that we stand with immigrant workers. These people are taking smiling pictures at the protests. Meanwhile, there's kids lying in hospital, one in critical condition over a week now, which isn't good. That's according to the media. The media are saying that she's there over a week, and you're going like, well, that's not good. Like, our percentages in survival rate isn't positive when it comes to that. I hope it is. And God bless that young lady, and God bless her family. Because that's what they need now. They need every bit of prayer that's going. And every bit of help that's going. But why have they not been interviewed? Is it because they don't fit the narrative? Is it because they'll say too much? Anyway, we'll go on to this here because, like I said, this is why I wouldn't believe in the Gardaí getting any sort of powers from these people, because this is wild. She says the Garda would have done us all a massive favour if he'd taken a baton to pepper. All he has ever done is intimidate people and harass women going about their business. Now, that's inciting violence, is it not? That's inciting hatred, is it not? But they're interested in talking to Conor McGregor, according to the media, allegedly, respectively, because now they're saying, according to Grip, then they were saying, no, they're not pursuing that. Other media members then were saying, yeah, they are. Who knows what's true anymore? And it's the last days of an empire, I would say, because we're watching this crumble in front of us and we're like, wow, this is interesting times here. But that's incitement to violence, is it not? That's incitement to hatred, is it not? And here's what you get here. You've got this individual. We'll show you here now. Should come along. Just give me 1 second. We're getting through this here. This is this person. You can look at the profile picture between here and there. I had it on the next slide. Look at that profile picture. It doesn't match. This is why fellas, by the way, and all jokes aside as well too, or well, I suppose this is a joke as well. Fellas going on the likes of dating apps, they don't know what's going to turn up. Look at that there. And then you have, wait, and you see this here now. Look. Lots. So prime time. This person was on prime time and is proudly displaying that in her bio. So RTE prime time, are they standing over this person making those sort of comments? Are they? Endometriosis affects 1 in 10 women of reproductive age. Tonight on prime time, we hear from some of the women who have been forced to seek treatment abroad because the condition is often widely misdiagnosed in Ireland. That's RTE 1, 9:35 p.m. A lot of these people, by the way, on the left, have absolute dislike for people on this side of the fence because a lot of them are bitter and they know that they're not going to be picked up by anybody in the long run. Guys don't want to be with them. And a lot of that bitterness comes from that there. And a lot of these women, by the way, possess social media profiles that are on the left and they say and do ridiculous things. I mean, you wouldn't believe. I say it and people think I'm actually being hyperbolic when I say these things, or I'm joking. Well, I'm not joking at all when I say you see women that are online that are particularly left-minded, and these people are some of the most sadistic individuals that you'll ever see. Let's have a look at this thing. I mean, like, that's an image, isn't it? I mean, do you know what? I can't even make too much comment on this platform, but this is a person that I definitely dislike. Hazel Chew goes, as I said when opening, now people will be in the chat rephrasing this, by the way, so fair play to you when it comes to that, they're able to misspell it as well too, and it sounds more like her, because I'm giving her more credit than she's due here with this. Opening the Dublin City Council nighttime economy, there's me talking about speaking and you make a mess like that. Economy summit today. I was distracted by the picture. Summit today. The city belongs to us. It does not belong to rioters in the far right. What do you mean the city belongs to us? The city doesn't belong to people that are from China. It doesn't belong to the Chinese. It doesn't belong to a communist. You're wrong. It does not belong to rioters in the far right. They want to conflate this all of the time. The people that were rioting are far right. How do you know that? How do you know the political leanings of anybody that attended that last Thursday night? Who's to say that people that were in attendance were the members of People Before Profit? Who's to say that? Who's to say that there wasn't people there that are fans of Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, Labour, Soc Dems? Who's to say that they weren't there? To try and throw this blanket statement over people is very convenient, isn't it? What their lead into this, by the way, is that they're trying to attach this to a mythical far right and have a right-leaning sort of, I would say, propaganda piece on the go, that when a right-side party comes up, they're going to try and slam them with it. It's the same play that happens in America, by the way, just so you know. The same sort of stuff that they're going to try here. We stand by our city. Our city? This isn't your city. Absolutely is not. And I'm tired of pretending this. I'm tired of pretending about these people being part of our culture and our history and our tradition. Generations before me are beneath this soil. This is something that Satirical Soldier says, and I love this quote. I do. His generations that have come before him, his ancestors, are buried beneath this soil. And you've got this one running around, this watermelon running around there. You know, the Green Party, green on the outside, red on the inside. You've got this individual running around then saying these type of things. Who do you think you are? You're ethnically Chinese. Your mum and dad are from China. There's not even half of you that you could even sort of claim to that there. No, this shouldn't be happening. In our country, But this is the same sort of stuff, again, that's been happening in Yankee land, where they have people that have rocked over there and are telling Americans what to do, and these people aren't even American. And this person is running around our country now saying things and calling us this, that, and the other. This woman should be so fast out of this country, deported out of this country, she wouldn't even believe. We stand by our seat and we will not be giving up on it. Make sure to go in and support and not let the hate win. This is something they say all of the time. You're just hateful. No, you're not hateful. You're not hateful. To want your city, and again, your city, not this one's city, because her city is thousands of miles away, because it's not Dublin. To want your city and your country, which is Ireland, to be safe isn't hateful. It's not racist. It's not any way negative. It's not bad of you. It is not any way to feel other than these people have now tried to crowbar their way in to try and call you a hater when you don't agree with them. No is the answer to that there. People have had enough and they are fed up with your sort of rhetoric. They are fed up with you. This woman regularly gets rinsed in the comments. Only this week as well too was she out there crying about people making jokes about her, and she quote tweeted them, which is hilarious as well too, because from our point of view, there was loads of accounts there. I was just like, I'll follow them now. Streisand effect. It's not happening for these people. I put out a video about people like her, and what happens is it gets views and it gets more support, and these people dwindle then, and more people get wired to what these people are like. This is one of the most, I would say, unlikable people in politics that I've ever witnessed. And is she there? I mean, like, she doesn't do much. She's not anything of any note, and she's not making policies or anything like that. Well, I mean, she's trying to influence them, I suppose. But is she one of these people that's poured out there to take an awful lot of this flack, so as it takes the eye off of the likes of Leo Varadkar, Micheál Martin, and Eamon Ryan? Maybe so. Maybe so. But I still do think people like her shouldn't be in this country whatsoever. You've got this woman then as well too. I'm going to show you this here. This one came from Travel Tourist, and it says, report that everyone. Okay? So Helen O'Rahilly. Now, what's interesting about this person is that she's related to a person that was involved in the 1916 Rising, the O'Rahilly. Okay? THE. And that is someone that was left in a shop door, from what I understand, from what I read, and was left expire by the British Army. You would think that a descendant would have some sort of decorum about them, but this woman is as mad as a box of frogs, in my humble opinion, allegedly, speculatively. Some of the stuff that this person is talking about is incredible. Now, I'm going to read this statement, and then I'm going to say to you what this person's involved in, or has been involved in the past. You're full of it and you know it. Anonymous troll. Sliding into people's mentions with your pseudo if-but nonsense. We see you. Now, that's, general stuff that happens on Twitter. But it takes a very sinister turn. We can find you and track you. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Now, this is a person, if anybody has any interest, this person, by the way, was a big wig at RTE as a producer and at the BBC. So these aren't the only comments that this absolute loon has been making, in my humble opinion, again, allegedly, speculatively. She goes on and says, hi all followers, I've drawn the line and I'm going to retweet and expose the fellow travellers of fascist accounts. Now, this is how these people talk. These are people that are in their 50s, 60s, that call everyone that disagrees with them part of the fash. You're fash, you are. You're an absolute moron, is what you were. I am done. This is a 50-plus-year-old woman throwing a temper tantrum online. Like, this is what I'd be talking about. I talk about previous generations, and sometimes, I have this conversation I do often with the old boy. Derek demands to be in the chat and be like, that's one, lads, go for it there. Talk about it with him all the time and say, because, of course, you get a bit of joy and we have a bit of laugh between each other, and he'd say, I blame your generation for what's going on. And sure, my generation are involved in the nonsense that's happening, absolutely. But I showed the images last week, and I show images like this, and he's like, no, that's my generation there too. And you have to understand as well too, anybody that's out there listening, that we've been let down by an awful lot of the previous generation that have allowed an awful lot of this leftist nonsense to go on, that have allowed governments and successive governments to behave the way they do, the debauchery, the degeneracy, the ridiculousness that's going on, that people have turned and looked the other way about. has now come to the forefront for us, where our generation has to now pick up the pieces, because the next generation that's coming as well too are going to suffer an awful lot of the brunt of it. We suffered enough, but the next one that's going to come after them, and the next one that's going to come after them, are going to suffer even more. You've got articles that are out there now that are talking about the Irish becoming a minority in areas in our country. You have the likes of the most popular boy name in Galway City being Mohammed. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. This is what happens when you decide that you're going to import people and then going to tell people here in this country, yeah, next generation doesn't really matter. Do you want to keep buying the Gucci bags and heading off to Ibiza there? Yeah. You don't need to do that. You can go and see a doctor there now and that'll get that sorted. This is where we're at. So many who are hanging around the sides of the fash. This is how these people talk. I mean, imagine typing this out and these people think they're at some sort of, I don't know, I would probably more so think that they're like do you think they're a Churchill or something like that when they're going out saying these type of things? No more. Block me by all means and save me the effort. Shame on those who indulge fash ideas. Absolutely hilarious. These people run around, by the way, online and call Philip Dwyer fash. Philip Dwyer doesn't affect any policies here in this country. He's not overseeing anything. How in God's green earth can you turn around and say to someone that they're a fascist when they don't direct nor have any policies that are directly affecting people here in this country? The stupidity is on another level. But these people are sheep-minded. They're collectivism. And it's like the guy there said in Argentina. He was talking about collectivism, and he's right. A few question marks surrounding him now, to be fair. But he was right when he was talking about shit leftists, because these are the type of people that are in positions of power and influence that are programming people with shit and are talking shit and then have a massive influence then upon people. This is why, as I said, entertainment sphere is important, because people like this are overseeing that. You know what I mean? We move on here. We've got this guy here, Honor Kemegny. Okay, that's clearly not an Irish name, but involved with the Green Party. The far-right agenda is to poison Irish politics. There's Roderick O'Gorman, who was pictured with Peter Tatchell. If you don't know who Peter Tatchell is, have a look into him. See what you think about the type of comments he made and the fact that Roderick O'Gorman was pictured with him. Let me know what you think later on. The far-right agenda is to poison Irish politics. We cannot think Ireland is immune from the far-right, as the riots in Dublin. Again, you can't turn around and say that everybody that's involved with last Thursday evening's events are far-right. How can you justify saying that? What's to say that these people were lefties? I don't know what position or politics that these people have. Maybe they have none. Maybe they're apolitical. So to try and lump them in and say, oh, they're far-right, it's disingenuous. It's a lie. And it's something that these people are repeating ad nauseum because they're afraid. So 3 likes here for Honor. Honor, is that, or what way we pronounce it? I don't actually really care, to be quite honest with you. The far right is toxic poison for the people of this country. Listen to me, mate. If you're not happy here, fuck off home. They only seek to cause hatred and division. That's funny, because that's actually what people like Roderick O'Gorman are doing. When you're deciding to tar people with a brush that have genuine concerns that haven't been listened to and haven't been given a voice over the last number of years. When you have politicians running away from them when they won't speak to anybody with genuine concerns. When you have people that have been the victims of crime that are being allegedly contacted by members of the government and allegedly being contacted by members of Garda Síochána to not tell their story. Well, how can you then turn around and say something about hatred and division when people are being told to silence themselves? How can you be talking about hatred and division when members of the government are actively out there trying to penalise people to the extent of, if you don't give the Gardaí a password for your phone, that you could spend a year in prison for that? It's absurd. It's absurd. There are people that are attacking children that are walking away scot-free, and yet you're not giving a password to a Garda. You see, you got to look at it from that point of view and compare these things. Like, if someone turned around to me and said, give me the password to your phone or else you're getting a year, I'd say, I'll tell you what there, go on and make a martyr out of me, give me the year. Because I'm not opening my phone to you, especially when you're looking at the likes of this fella, and that fella that's been let off the leash there by certain judges in this country, and these people have been absolutely 100% caught red-handed when they're attacking kids. You want to play that game? I play that game. And I go for it publicly, because everybody else is going to do the same thing too. Everyone else is going to point to that and go, this is a mockery, this is stupid. Look at what's happening with Enoch Burke. Enoch Burke is still in jail. He's still in jail. Yet you've got people running around the place espousing absolute nonsense, dangerous stuff, leftist stuff, and yet Enoch Burger's the one sitting in jail. Boy, he was against the court order. Listen, if there was any legitimacy left in this system anymore, people would agree with you. But the fact is that you've broken the Nuremberg Code, actively so, over the last couple of years, and the Geneva Convention. So people are looking at you and they're not taking you serious anymore. Hatred and division. It's the same playbook, by the way, the same buzzwords that these people use all of the time. We should stand united against these hooligans and don't let them take control of our seas. What do you mean, our seas? What do you mean by that? This isn't Lagos or whatever shithole you've come from. That's your city, mate. When you say our city, you can talk about that there. Imagine a Paddy, right? Imagine a Paddy rocking over to Nigeria, Lagos, and becoming a politician there and going, this is our city. How long do you think that person would last? That is a nation, by the way, in Nigeria, because let's just play the game here, that has banned foreign models and voiceover actors because they've said, no, we want to promote our own people. Is that racist and xenophobic? It doesn't seem to be when they do it, but when anybody else does it, particularly if you're white, it seems to be an issue. I don't know about you, but when you look at it like that, you got to say, it's very strange. Just give me 1 second there, guys. To just flick this back on, make sure we're all good to this stream. Sometimes we want to make sure that's not jumping around the place or anything like that. We haven't gotten any messages now tonight from Derek McManus to say it's not going well. Let's have a look now and double check. Yeah, we're all good. Okay, right, that's good. We're moving on. Let's keep moving. So you've got this woman here, Niamh Whelan. Again, this is what I'm just showing you tonight as well, too. I just want to make a point of it, these leftist individuals and these people that are out there, that when they're talking about division and hatred and stuff like that, this is who you're dealing with. You're dealing with people that are posting out these things and then in the same breath then are saying, wait and see what this woman says. It's incredible. Niamh Whelan, proud mama and wife, Sinn Féin member, Tallaght Central 2024 candidate. Make sure Philip Dwyer runs in that area because he should be absolutely winning against these people. Unity rep DSW, Rovers and Man U fan by order. Unpublished Abu, time for unity. Retweeting already. So at the top of the profile here, you've got a big-ish. You've got this replying to Ireland against Fash. Now, that was an account that has been yeeted, as the young generation say, has been removed from Twitter, which is hilarious, which has resulted in the leftist meltdown now, because now the playground that was theirs beforehand has now been taken firmly off them, and people have decided this is the town square for us now. And Elon Musk has done a great job with that. Fair play to him. This is absolutely brilliant stuff to see. And these people now are talking about withdrawing from platforms like Twitter. Go ahead. Where are you going to run to? Mastodon? Yeah, we all know about that. We all know about the sort of stuff that's going on there. Anyway, while the Spain mob were outside the Sean O'Casey Community Centre in East Wall tonight. So people with genuine questions and concerns outside of East Wall were a baying mob. Do you see what I'm saying? How these people are trying to depict people that are asking questions? Because you're going to have a look at the pictures and the videos now in a moment. Tonight, Mary Lou was inside with a local community group who were preparing the memorial ribbons for the community Christmas tree lighting taking place this Saturday. Mary Lou McDonald has been on a very big tour of going around and getting pictures and photo ops for the last week or so. And it hasn't worked out because people have rightfully said, hang on, Mary Lou, your party seems to be open borders policy is trying to cause and call people racist for asking these questions. You've got Desi Ellis, for example, out there that's calling people racist when people have genuine concerns about the people he's siding with. And you've got other members that are doing batty things as well too, like this online. So let's have a look and see what Niamh was up to. And this is what happened. Conor McGregor said, innocent children ruthlessly, you know what, by a mentally deranged non-national in Dublin, Ireland today. A chief of police had this to say on the riots in the aftermath. Drew, not good enough. So Niamh Whelan, as you can see from this here, it says 362 followers, is a Sinn Féin member and is going to be a candidate, has gotten 4 likes on a tweet here that's received 1,451 views. Philip Dwyer, the bold Philip Dwyer. Shout out to Philip Dwyer. If you're not following him already, make sure you're following him. Make sure you're following him over on Twitter. He does an awful lot of his stuff over there. Philip Dwyer said, would you like to do a live stream debate on these issues? Because she said, all of a sudden, cares about people being attacked. So what? So what if it's all of a sudden? It's still a legitimate concern. You know what I'm saying? What's the problem with that? If it's a long-standing issue that he has, great. I'm delighted he's finally speaking now. But this is the type of stuff that you have here. This is the response. This is genuinely, guys, right? Look at this. A proud mama. So she's a mother and a wife. And this is her reaction to a man talking about innocent children being attacked. All of a sudden you care about people being attacked. That's the type of way these people go on. This is who they are. The mask is off now. So Philip, as I said here, says, would you like to do a live stream debate on these issues? And 30 likes. So ratio they're there as well too, with less views, as you can see, 857 views there. And this is how she behaves. This is a woman. This is supposedly a woman. I don't know. Sinn Féin can't define what that is now, so I'm not really sure. It makes my skin crawl that I live in the same country as you, so I'd rather stick pins in my eyes and squirt lemon juice into the wounds than share the same air as you. Sorry. This is a person that's looking to be a candidate for election. Ensure that this person doesn't get into any sort of position of power, because if this is what she's posting beforehand, what type of weirdo stuff is this idiot going to do if she ends up in a seat? Now again, Tala is an interesting pace because you've got Paddy Houlihan that was a member of Sinn Féin. Now, if any time is good to be exposing Sinn Féin and what they're really about, now's the time, Paddy. Let them know. Let people know. And I think Paddy needs to jump off the fence and needs to be telling a little bit more home truths with regards to them. So this is a question for a genuine open dialogue, because Philip Dwyer is genuine when he comes across, when he says these things. But the ultimate thing is this. This person realizes that he would absolutely school her when it comes to a debate. And she's running scared. That's it. You can't debate a fella there. You should be able to absolutely 100% as a candidate be able to take on Philip Dwyer. But this is the fear that you're saying. This is the supposed opposition here in Ireland. We have no opposition here in Ireland. These people are all part of the same team, in my humble opinion. And in the opinions of an awful lot of other people. So that's what you get with Sinn Féin. Sinn Féin just keeps exposing itself again and again. And when I say that, I mean members that they have decided to let into the party that are espousing this sort of stuff and are completely and utterly out of control. Because there seems to be no code of conduct when it comes to these people. There certainly seems to be no way of responding to people. And again, when they're being called to debate, they don't want to know. That says an awful lot to me, doesn't it? So let's have a look at Mary Lou and see what Mary Lou was up to. Because again, this is supposedly the party of totally, guys, we're totally on the side of the Irish people. We want to listen to you. We sandwiches 100%. Let's see what they were up to. This is the leader of Sinn Féin, by the way.
I'm just saying that. Your hands,
No.
Mary Lou.
Mary Lou, can I ask you a few questions? And I can't do something to warn them.
They're pulling the passport.
Mary, why have you not condemned? Why have you not condemned? Why have you not condemned the terrorists? Why have you not condemned the terrorists? Mary
Illegal aliens. What about the illegal aliens?
And then your fucking kids have to die for you.
You don't care about the people.
Get back his scared.
Now, apparently that's a baying mob. According to the left, that's a baying mob. I don't see a baying mob. Do you? I see a number of people that are concerned, and that won't be answered by a politician. By a career politician, by the way. This is a person that was in Fianna Fáil. I think a lot of people forget that. The face there says it all as well too. That's the face of a person that realises that the jig goes up. This is a person that was in Fianna Fáil. A lot of people forget that. And this is a person now that has been leading Sinn Féin and is a career politician, as I said, for a very long time. She should be able to, 100%, be able to stand with the people and make them not concerned and give a spiel as such. to calm people down. Surely, this is the opposition. This is the supposed Republican. This is the supposed nationalist. You see what I'm saying? Anybody that's looking at this from outside of this country, we have no opposition in government. Because if the opposition here was beloved, which they should be, because they should be taking the government to task, this woman should be welcomed with open arms and people should be saying, oh, it's great to see you. Let's hear what you have to say about what's going on. Instead, no, scuttle off there into the car and off you go. But it gets worse. Let's have a look at the next video because things get worse from here. So, according to people, there was a baying mob there. And then people were saying online, there's no Gardaí there today. This is a woman of the people. And how dare you come after her? And these people that are saying that they're all there for women and children, they couldn't care less by the way that they're surrounding Mary Lou and asking her questions. But there's the Gardaí there. There's the lads. So let's see what happens.
The guards are arresting one of the people here. All they wanted to do was ask Mary Lou McDonald a few questions.
Now, the person that's talking there is Gavin Pepper. Okay, so what one of the news stations decided to do over the last 24, 48 hours was they decided to put his tweet out and decided then to put a voiceover, which is a very suspect voiceover, of a fella that was calling for very negative things to happen to immigrants. Now, everybody looked at that and most people that were in chats went, that's a Fed, that's a Fed, that's definitely a Fed. Nobody's saying that. He's legitimately the only person that's saying that. That's to get what happened to happen, which is to put it up online and try and link it to people. Now, Gavin Pepper is saying that he's going to sue the media company in question because it made it seem like when they played the voice clip over Gavin's tweet that it was Gavin. Now, that's according to Gavin. I would say, and in my humble opinion, I would agree with him because I would look at that and I'd say, why would you not then differentiate and say, well, these are the tweets of Gavin Pepper here, and here's someone else that was saying something here. Why would you play that over when you then mentioned Gavin Pepper's name and then started to play this voice? No, maybe someone made a big boo-boo when they thought it was Gavin. But you know what's happening here? I'm just taking a swig here, so anyone that's gotten like into ASMR or whatever like that is, that's what's going on here. You have a situation at hand now where, and this is what I'm talking about with the emergence of AI. And the emergence of AI, by the way, has proved to be something quite interesting over the last while. People can now say, with deep fakes as well too, and this is where I would show concern as well too, I suppose, but in this is going to sound mental, but this side of the fence is now going to go, oh, with deep fakes and AI and with the way things have gone right now, what's to say that the government and media don't concoct something? Okay, because do you trust them? I don't. Now, I'm just spitballing here. This is allegedly speculative. But what's to say that these people that have it in for you, we can see the type of stuff that they're posting online, the rhetoric that they're going with. What's to say that these people don't make something up, completely fabricated, and try to make it out as if you said that, and you did that, and you posted that? Do you see what I'm saying? So now you have a lot of people that are on this side of the fence go, well, I didn't do that. That's AI. That's actually something that's been generated. That's a deep fake. So we're in interesting times now because I remember as well too when the Leo Varadkar situation came out when he was smooching a young fella, that people went, what's the story there? And Fine Gaelers were out there going, that's a deep fake. There was genuinely people online that were like, that's a deep fake. That's not him. So that's where we're at. So you've opened the door to that one, and the door has been firmly opened now. So I would say, buckle up as well too from this side of the fence because they're going to try and make you sound like you've been saying certain things, and sometimes you're going to have to keep a close eye on that there because this AI, I seen an AI thing there not too long ago, and they were able to do a speech of Joe Rogan and various other celebrities that were out there, and word for word, not a bother. And I was like, these celebrities haven't even said these things, and the generation was able to do it. So let's have a look.
One of the people here. All they wanted to do was ask Mary Lou McDonald a few questions. And the public order unit come.
There and go home.
We're not allowed to ask questions. Yeah, that's no bother. Man on the ground. That's great, isn't it? You can see questions and you set up public unit. This is what I think of people. This is what the government thinks of it. This is why your kids are in danger.
So fair play to Gavin Pepper there. I absolutely agree with what he's saying there. And let's have a look at the next video, because those two videos are bad. But this is where it got it for me now. I was just like, all right, that's, you know, I've publicly withdrawn my support for these people in uniform before. Look, I'm someone that will definitely say I'm a fan of law and order. But when you see situations like this, considering what's going on at the border and the people running around this country and the politicians that run around this country, and what happens to this guy, it's shambolic. It's a disgrace. It's reprehensible.
Someone goes on to this course. Show the people down as funny as hell. We know children will have that train to there. It's not 3 innocent children. Screwy stuff. Stand back. Right now. Stand back. Stand back. Stand back. Stand back. Stand back. Everybody back.
Put this arm on.
Give me your hand now. Give me your hand now. Give me your hand now.
That guy, what are you doing?
Give me your hand now.
We don't want you. We don't hear from.
I live here. I was walking away and he said, "Oh, this time is insane." Thanks, lads. I live here. Can't even question our leaders. We're in our own home and he's arresting us. I was walking away and he's arresting me for nothing. For nothing. For asking the leader a question of a country. I was walking away, guards, and he's not pushing me. There was a man behind me. Lean on me all you want, I'm not going anywhere. Lean on your shoulder, not your spine. Yeah, I know, you're not just saying I'm not going anywhere. We just relax, Liz. I live here. Fucking hell.
That's Ireland 2023. You know, the two videos that have happened before that I've just shown were ones that I was like looking at it and I was saying, shame on them, shame particularly on the likes of the politician, Mary Lou McDonald, who was supposed to be the opposition leader, for not coming out and speaking to the people. And sure, she's going to get a bit of flack. She's going to get a lot of people that are animated there, but there's plenty of Gardaí there to quell any sort of incident that could occur. No incident occurred. Nothing happened to the car that she was in either. So when they say bay and mob as well too, bay and mob is an incorrect description of people that are there. People are there looking for answers to questions that they're being asked. People are being denied to meetings of Sinn Féin. It happened last year as well. Remember, we all saw that. We did when Phil Dwyer went to try and got into the meeting, and the likes of the Irish Inquiry as well too. They were refused because these people are known and they're obviously been directed at the door to say refuse these people. Same thing happened as well too, where a people before profit meeting as well, where people were at the door and they were calling for Gino Kenny to come out. Now Gino Kenny, again, this is a guy, by the way, my opinion is the people before profit, there's not a bollock between them, and he didn't come out either. Didn't want to know. There's people at the door that were going, he's not coming out, he doesn't want to speak to you. These are the politicians now that are in these areas. East Wall and various areas around East Wall are predominantly Sinn Féin supporters. They would have been Sinn Féin supporters beforehand. What's gone on here now, particularly with a video like that, is they break that forevermore. They break that link between them and the supporting of a certain party forevermore. So that's where and why I do always say it's important for nationalist parties and patriots to be standing in these areas, because they would stand with the people and ask them and give them, or ask them questions and give them answers to the questions that they're being asked. That's what Gavin Pepper's doing. Like I said, he's walking into crowds and he's being welcomed. Mary Lou McDonald isn't. And then you see this video. So those two videos are bad enough, I find. And when you have people in uniform telling people to go home, people with legitimate concerns in their own country are being told to go home. And there's a very big presence of these individuals. Now, this is going to become the norm because, like I said before, this is the opposition party. This is the party that's supposed to be getting the support from the people. And this is the type of people that you have at it now. You've got uniforms in big numbers at these meetings now. This is how it is from here on out. This isn't going to change. And these sorts of arrests as well, too, that you're seeing here, this Section 8 bollocksology that these people want to go with every single time. Any time you see these people arrest people, it's a Section 8, it is their absolute fucking nonsense. That should be struck out 100%, because this public order thing, is there something not more dangerous to the public than what the government of Ireland and the media are doing? If you want to Section 8 anybody, Section 8 the people that are in the Dáil. If you had any fucking bollocks between you, that's exactly what you would do. But there's nothing there. There's nothing. There's no integrity, there's no honour, and there's no respect from the people anymore, because an incident like that there, where a man is being pushed to the ground and being arrested for asking questions, and has been treated that way in his own country, that is one of the most harrowing videos that you're going to see, because that man is entirely respectful. And that's what I want to point out. We've all seen the videos of fellas being arrested and they're making claims towards Gardaí and they're saying things towards them, and people are going, oh, that's shocking, that's terrible, and that. But this fella's on the ground there, been pushed into the ground because he's asking a leader of a political party questions, and because he didn't move off a road quick enough, this is the type of treatment he gets. Would it not answer these people better in uniform to be hanging around the likes of the airport and doing it to people that are getting off the plane without any sort of documents? Would it not answer these people to be going around places and trying to get people that are at being served with deportation orders to have to self-deport, which is a complete and utter fucking joke? Would it not be better that these people put a bit of time and effort into that there, rather than facing off against their own people? A lot of people are viewing the Gardaí now as the new black and tans. That's not my words, but what is happening is people online are calling them that. That's what I'm seeing, allegedly, respectively. You don't help your cause. So when I say to people that nobody felt sorry for Gardaí last Thursday evening, incidents like these are why. And this is why they're in total disarray and shock. I mean, they can't believe, I'm serious, because we've seen it on the media during the week, they can't believe that people went on to the likes of Virgin Media and were cribbing about Gardaí getting pucks last Thursday evening, and no one gave a fuck. No one cared. No one of any no cared. Nobody in the mass cared. I've talked to people over the last couple of weeks, I have, and I certainly talked to people in the last week, an awful lot of people. No one person mentioned that to me. Nobody. Because there's a collective, in my opinion, again, I'm not a mind reader, but there seems to be a collective undertone where people go, well, I agree with the people that are protesting, and I don't agree with the fact that these people now have gone out and they're arresting their own people. Meanwhile, it's dangerous to be walking around our country. GT said it not too long ago. And he said the days of Ireland where you're able to walk around with your earphones in, oblivious and thinking that there's no danger, are over. You've got a lot of people now that are talking about how dangerous the place is, and particularly as well too, and I'll always say it, particularly the women are saying how dangerous the place is, but they're not actually saying why. And everybody that has any sort of modicum of sense is looking at this and going, well, I know why. I know why the place has become dangerous, but we don't want to front up to it. We don't want to fess up to what's going on. And the more times things like this happen, that man, to me now, was perfectly within his right to be asking questions. And I think an end result there of an arrest, and this is what the media do, by the way, just want to let you know this, that when they, or Mary Lou turn up to this community centre and someone gets arrested, the media then are out to spin that and go, the people that were there were super aggressive when people were arrested, and there's been one arrest. I honestly, I look at these things now and I literally don't care when they said there's an arrest being made. I'm like, well, that person's probably not doing anything bad. That guy certainly wasn't from the video that I can see. Now, again, open to correction there, of course. You know, I'm sure now with the body cam footage that's going to be coming out, things are going to become a bit more of a laugh now, because not only are people on this side of the fence recording, but they're going to be recording you too. So we'll see how long that holds up. I give that body cam footage stuff about a year and a half. I'd say it'll be scrapped within a year and a half because they're gonna get caught left, right, and centre, allegedly, speculatively. Like, it's more of a problem for them than it is for anyone else, you know. So let's have a look at what's happening to Sinn Féin as well too, because this is also happening as well. This is in County Offaly. This is beautiful. I keep seeing videos like this.
Sinn Féin are.
I'm like, mwah, chef kiss to this here. When you see the faces of these people, pure NPCs, non-playable characters, people that are involved in a game that are just like going through life. I read there recently, this is a little bit off topic I suppose, but something relating to this, that 50% of the people don't have like an inner monologue. So you know the way you do something, I don't know, people might say in the chat now, do you know the way you do something and like you have a thought in your head and you go, all right, I'm going to pick up the glass there, I'm going to put the glass down and then I'm going to put the milk into it there. 50% of the people don't have that. I'm like, how do you get through life? Anyway, let's go on through this.
Essentially Ireland's Communist Party, who are pro mutilation of children, LGBT ideology in schools.
Look at that dude's face. He's like, oh, you're saying words now that are linking me into this sort of stuff. I didn't know this. This fella over here ain't doing nothing. This woman's face about too tells the tale too. But that is absolutely hilarious. Your man's jaw dropping there. I had to say, I'll just laugh really hard at that I did. Because he's like, what? Because when you say things like that, and this is what happens with the limiting of language, for example, like I'm limited with what I can say on this platform, but that man said exactly what an awful lot of us think and an awful lot of what we should say to these people. When you use words like that towards these people, they're like horrified. And it's backed up by then. You, for example, there you've got that social democrat individual that's been pushed there, the Doubtfire that's been pushed there. Like, that person's literally involved in a group there that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, were probably locked up in institutions and people went, something's going on there. You certainly don't go into a doctor and say to them, do you know what, doc? I'm tired of having my left arm there. The left arm isn't that much use. Just get rid of it there. The doctor would commit you immediately. But yet when you do it for something else there, when it's to do with reproduction, that's no problem at all. You need to be talked to. We need to give you all the sort of support we can get. Madness. Anyway, let's keep going.
Mass open borders for immigration, for people from shithole countries who are stabbing Irish children. And you won't say it. Let's see here now that you're on camera. We're in County Offaly here, by the way. What are you going to do about the child grooming policies implemented in Ireland, where perfectly healthy children are told that remove their genitalia?
Sorry, I'm actually asking you not to record me as of now.
You are Sinn Féin canvassers. You put yourself in the public eye, therefore you're going on more. We are in County Offaly now, where Sinn Féin canvassers are trying to spread their poison, their globalism to Irish families. Don't think so. Aoife Masterson, no, she's the one pushing the transgender and queer ideologies in Irish schools and support. So how do you feel about the fact that an Irish child was stabbed at the hands of an Algerian migrant? A policy which you guys uphold, mass migration from immigrants from shithole countries whose culture has no place in Ireland. What's it a case of? Brits out, Islam in. That's Sinn Féin all around, isn't it? So Sinn Féin have the cheek to go around County Offaly looking for votes in the wake of what happened to an Irish child the other day at the hands of a policy they uphold. Vote Aoife Masterson #1, eh? Clearing off. That's what you call the rubbish taking itself out. With a faggot electric car.
Yeah, so that comment at the end, that's the stream done. Oh, stop. But the thing is, when you look at this from that point of view, and you see that people have said, all right, that's enough now. We're gonna by the way, this stream will still be on Rumble, by the way, if this platform decides to mess about with it. So if anybody's interested in having a look over there, go on over there then. So what we have here is Sinn Féin being ran from an area. Now, I've said this beforehand. Now, whilst you might say, and we'll all talk about this logically, it's one man. One man has made 3 canvassers go away, and particularly the person who was looking to be elected. This is a bad look for the person that's looking to be elected. At no point did she defend any of the policies. At no point did she say that that wasn't true. At no point did she come back at this man in any sort of fashion or sense. Now, what I mean by that is, and what I want you to remember is, that these are the type of people that are looking to be elected to be then challenging other world leaders, and you're supposed to be saying, well, is this person going to be sticking up for me? On the merit of that video, no, they won't. They absolutely won't. Because they can't talk to a man in Offaly, so they won't be able to go up to the biggest leaders in the world and sort them out. They're not going to be going along to the European Union and tell them, right now, lads, we're leaving the EU. Right now, lads, I'm telling you now, this is how we're doing things. No, not at all. These people are going to be sat in a room somewhere and going to be told, now listen, bucko, this is how it goes. That's not what we need. We don't need leaders like that. We need people that are going to be going in and telling them what's what. Tell you what, lads, we want out of the EU. It's not good for us. It's causing big problems. You're talking about obligations and us having to stuff our country full of people that we don't want here. No, we shouldn't be doing that. So Sinn Féin been ran out of Offaly. I said it before and I'll say it again. It's important that the country people are doing this sort of stuff because that's where it happens mostly, I would say, because Dublin as well, I'll always say this, and I do mean this when I say this, the countryside people and people that are outside of Dublin are going to be hugely important going forward, because Dublin at this moment in time is in big trouble. It is overrun, and there's issues that are happening here in this county that it's going to be hard to turn it around. The other counties around the country, though, I think have a really big chance, though, because they have tight-knit communities. They have communities that are like what they used to be like in the 90s and probably even the 80s. Those communities still exist, and they still exist in that way. Dublin is more fractured now. It's a lot more split it is, and it's difficult for people to come together. It is not to say that that's impossible. It's not. There are pockets around Dublin, certainly, where the communities are strong, and they still are strong. So this sort of mindset and this sort of approach needs to be taken by everybody, and to be showing people this sort of information that's happening, these sort of videos. These videos are critical because this isn't being shown to you. It's not getting around. Now, some people say, yeah, it's getting around to my WhatsApp. I was sent that and I was able to send it on like that. But this should be each and every time that this is sent on, it's sent on to someone and shown to someone that doesn't know that this is occurring. Social media is very powerful nowadays because you're able to show these people and say to people then, what do you think of that there? I know I'm obviously giving my opinion when it comes to this. Like I'm saying, people might have a different opinion when it comes to that and say, oh, well, you know, this person's cutting the hop. She doesn't know what to say or anything like that. She's not the leader of the party. People make excuses for her. But my point still stands. If this person's supposed to be standing up in the dawn as opposed to be challenging people and challenging situations that are going on, what sort of hope would this person have? And isn't it mad, isn't it, as well, too, how eloquent and how well and how prepared these people speak when they're in the Dáil? And yet then when they meet a member of the public, they don't know what to say. They're like, oh, their cat got her tongue. She doesn't know what to say. She's just sitting there with a bowel facing her, going, I don't want to be recorded. Tough luck. We don't want to be invaded. So anyway, we'll keep moving on. Now, this came out as well too, guys. And this this is an idiot, this guy. I did a video not too long ago telling this fella to go back to Jamaica. And it did good numbers, it did, but he decided to come out again. Now, he's wearing an Eddie Rockets t-shirt, not a very clever individual. And of course, then people were, now, what's funny about it, people on this side of the fence as well, too, were like, this is his account. He has the account there. So, I mean, like, it's very easy to see who this guy is. He was pictured as well, too, with Minister Dara O'Brien not too long ago as well. Him and his missus, and apparently got a house, allegedly, respectively. But it was pictured with Dara O'Brien as well. So that's a bit of an odd situation, isn't it? And this guy is regularly out there spouting nonsense. So, like, when he's saying things like this, you have to ask yourself, what sort of country are we living in when people like this guy here that is coming from a shithole is able to say these sort of things? People like him should be absolutely delighted to be within this country, should absolutely be thanking people for being here. But every single time you see a video like this and you see the ungratefulness of these people, and when I say these people will be like, what do you mean these people? Thinking like Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder. But what I'm saying is the community itself never seemed to check a guy like this. They never seem to say, hang on there, that guy doesn't represent us. And you have these other people that are running around out there as well too, talking about white privilege and all that. The community doesn't seem to check them and say, whoa, hang on here for a second. We've just come out of a shithole like Nigeria. We've just come out of a shithole like Somalia. And you're going to get us sent back there. Stop that. Stop that now. You don't ever see that. So, you know, people on the left-hand side like to say silence is in agreement with these people. Well, you know, you got to say the same thing here. So let's have a look.
and they are going to be a part of this country, and they will contribute to this country peacefully like everybody else. We are not moving, we are not leaving, we are not afraid of you. You keep attacking the international community.
Now, that's an important point there. When he said, we're not afraid of you, but the journal have been going around for the last week telling people that the immigrants here in this country are afraid of the Irish people. So which is it? Now, if I was in another country, and I'm just saying from my point of view, if I was in another country and I was behaving like this guy, and I was issuing what seemed to be threats, again, allegedly, speculatively, and saying that I'm not afraid of the native population, that would be a big error. That would be a stupid thing to do. If I was sitting in Japan and I was saying, I'm not afraid of any of you Japanese people, I'm not afraid of you people in your country, I would probably get a knock on the door pretty quickly. And they'd be like, right now, that's you, we're here now. Thanks, Ninja Knight there. Lovely to have you here. But good luck and God bless you. But what's happened here in this country is they've emboldened guys like this because there are no serious consequences for guys like this. And when I say serious consequences, what I mean are deportations. This guy's looking at a Chico McCamden just the same way as you are, and he's going, well, your man's after doing something heinous there, and they haven't bounced him out of the country. Sure, like, I can do anything. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what happens when you have no repercussions. And listen, I don't think we should be housing the world. I don't think we should be housing the population of Africa. We're far too small a country to be doing that. I don't think we should be housing the population of India or Pakistan or China. I don't think we should be doing that. They have their own countries. And I have to say, this type of guy that comes over here and has the gall then to be saying these type of things, you've come from failed nations, pal. That's where you've come from. So who are you?
Community, you know what's going to happen. Everybody is going to come down on you like a ton of bricks for attacking every country. Or
is that a threat? I don't think you know the history of this country. Really don't think you know.
Every freaking nationality that comes to this country of Ireland, this beautiful island that you people decided to try and destroy because you don't like different people. Because
don't like you.
Because you are idiots and you are trying to be heroes, which you are not. You will never be included in the history books as any form of heroes. You'd be in the history books as pariahs and destructive people in society and racist people. And I cannot.
He got through. How long of a video there did he get through? He got 53 seconds in before he called people racist. That word doesn't mean anything anymore. That word used to mean something. Biggie used to mean something. The bad guys from Germany used to mean something. And when I say bad guys from Germany as well too, a lot of people are reassessing what's going on there too. Like, we're living in interesting times where people are going, hang on here for a sec. They're releasing information there again about that one, and people don't seem to be able to link up what they've been saying. That's a bit of a quinky dink. It's a bit of a quinky dink that the good guy has won every single war that has happened in history, isn't it? That's a quinky dink. Norm MacDonald said that as well. Norm MacDonald was like, what's the odds of that? So let's keep going anyway. This guy, I have to say, I think he's a few sandwiches short of a picnic. So that's in itself is dangerous to be walking around our country, to be quite fair.
I cannot wait for the next generation of this country to grow up and laugh at the activities that you caused.
Now, what he actually means there is that when he says the next generation to grow up and laugh at you, he's talking about outbreeding you. That's what he means. He's talking about, hey, when we're with Irish girls, and hey, when we bring our own women over and we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 babies, and you, Paddy, there is having one or you're having none, or you're aging yourself out of that age range of being able to do that. Not for men most of the time, women for sure. Like I said earlier on, this links back into what I was talking about with women being sold Gucci handbags and being able to rock around the world to the likes of Ibiza and then age themselves out of an ability to have children, and certainly multiple children. You take people, and again, friends of mine as well too, that are from different parts of the world, they have multiple kids. They ain't worrying about stuff. They're not worrying about this the same way we do. They're not as much of a consumer as we are. Not at all. These people are full in on a family unit. They have 3, 4, 5, and 6 kids, like the Irish of old. Meanwhile, you talking to Irish people and you'd say you're going to have kids. Nah, why not? Like, I wouldn't be able to go to Burning Man if I did. You know what I mean? And you're going, Burning Man? Like, what's that? I wouldn't be able to go to Australia and do a bit of farm work over there. like, that's a waste of time, honestly. I wouldn't be able to do a J1 there and go over there for 3 months. Okay? Again, you're missing the point here. But this is what this guy means. This guy means outbreeding you, next generation, and for it to be torn on you. That's an interesting point there.
This week in Dublin City, you are a disgrace. This is a beautiful country. Dublin is a beautiful city that did not deserve what happened over them poor children that are in the hospital that you did not decide to go and light a single candle for. Instead,
there was a vigil yesterday.
You decide to light up Garda cars, buses, Lewis's, which you need to go and transport yourself to work. Well, I don't even think you work.
If you were working in Eddie Rockets, mate, I wouldn't listen. If I was you, I wouldn't be talking about anybody working when you're flipping burgers or you're seating someone down in a chair there. If that's allegedly, speculatively where you're working. Okay, this guy fancies himself a rapper, and you know what's interesting? I have a number of friends, obviously, as well, too, as I said, from different places. And what's interesting about a specific community, I'll just say, is a lot of them seem to have an interest in either being a rapper, a comedian, or doing something then of actual note. There's 3 things there, really. And this guy has taken the I'll be a social media celebrity star type of thing. You see your woman as well, too, on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, your woman Nella Rose, another EJ that has an immigrant mentality of I have a problem with everything and everyone should bow down to me. And she's not winning. She's not doing well. ITV are actually hiding the replies on the tweets as well, too, when people are criticising her. What I'm saying is that similar mentality is shared by a guy like this there, where it's give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that. This is my country. This is mine. This is mine. And I'm going to tell you how to behave. You go and get fucked. That's what you can do.
Because if you did, you wouldn't be setting no Lewis or buses on fire, would you now?
But when BLM did it in America, I'm sure that you were all over that and said that wasn't a bother. Isn't that right? I'm sure you said, oh, do it all for George. I'm sure you would no issue as well, too, with people parking themselves outside a Garda station for 2 weeks and halted traffic in an area. I'm sure you had no issue with people kicking a bus or running through a shopping centre. I'm sure you had no problem as well, too, with the multiple attacks and assaults that happened to people after that BLM nonsense as well in Ireland. I'm sure you had no issue with that. Sure you didn't. This fella's an absolute mouth, he is.
Because you'd have a problem going to work, wouldn't you now? So you was more...
You wouldn't, you absolute fool, because the thing is that there's multiple buses that are able to transport people around Dublin, and also people that possess things called legs, which they walk with. I know that's probably a bit of an alien and foreign thing to you, but, you know, it is what it is.
Motherfuckers are going to leave this country. So help us, the international community will not accept you backwards thinking, low life, scum of the earth, mofos in this country anymore. We are not tolerating racism.
Okay, we'll just unpack that there. He is saying, literally there, you've all just heard that, he is saying that the immigrants in this country are not going to take it. Bear with me. That people are upset in their own country, the native people are upset, but the immigrants aren't going to take it. Now, people would say that this guy is an actor. He's a state-owned individual, and that he's fanning the flames of these sort of things, so that people will have an issue, and that it collides. My thing is this. This guy should be absolutely deported out of this country. I know we keep saying that, and people say, well, Ninja, get this guy out. That's simple as. And it sends a very stark warning and message then to anybody else that wants to get involved in this sort of stuff. If you're not happy, listen, make it a stop and not a stay. If you're not happy in this country isn't going to change for you. You can go and fuck off home. That's what you can do. You're not wanted here. And nobody is looking to hang on to you. You're a dime a dozen, pal. Nobody has any interest. People want people coming into this country that are productive and that are going to give something to this country. Not you. What are you doing? Sitting around making TikToks? Sitting around flipping burgers? Is that what it is? Because you can have multiple people that are out there that are burger flippers here, no bother at all. You know, we had this sort of stuff that was said during the week as well too. The left went mad in on it and they got ratioed as well. Oh, I went to town today and I got served a coffee by an immigrant. I got my burger handed to me by an immigrant. I walked into the cinema and I was served by an immigrant. Are we on some sort of plantation here or something like that? Is that what's going on? Are you saying you're some sort of supreme? Is that what's going on? Because that's how that looks. And not only that, then I thought that replacement theory thing was only a theory. I thought that was a bit of a lolt. Let's keep going.
This generation of black people in this world is not tolerating racism from any of ye. It is not happening. You better pack up and leave this country. I'm telling you now, you better leave this country.
Lads, I don't even have to add any commentary towards that. I really don't. You all know the score.
Migrants are not taking any more from you. You have done everything in this country to oppress us, destroy our families, destroy our lives, destroy our futures, but it ends now.
That fella's a dipshit, literally. Absolute dipshit. But funny to laugh at and funny to show you a little bit of a clue into how these people go on. Rise Up Air said this, locked up 11 years for savage attack. So victim showed heroic strength after being, 9 times. Perpetrator right there. Seems like the immigration thing isn't really working out too far here now in this country. And we seem to be letting in the dregs of the world. Man, Cannon Air there's another one. This was said, guys, in the Shannon, and Helen McEntee was sitting there like the Wicked Witch of the West. She looks like she's at their age in about 10 years in the last week, lads. It's great to see the stress come upon her now. It really is. It's kind of like when David Moyes was managing Manchester United. He aged about 20 years. He did in about 6 months. The stress of it is getting to her. I'm sure she's having a sleepless night, she is, and that she's stressed out of her being. Now, I saw an article, not an article, but certainly a comment that was made by a tweeter this evening about Helen McEntee's dad, and they were trying to psychologically evaluate Helen a little bit and saying this is why she might be behaving the way she is. No, you got to understand that these people are all in on this. All these people are all for this. She's not just doing this on her own. She's happy enough to go along here, and not too long ago as well, they were priming her for the position of Taoiseach here in this country. 100%. But as I said before to people as well too, your actions have consequences. Voting for Helen McEntee out of sympathy has now resulted in a situation like this. And she's not the only one, by the way. Heather Humphreys and Simon Harris hold the can for an awful lot what's going on as well too. Let's not forget. And the people that were before that. But this is what you have now, an Irish senator saying in the Shannon. Now, I'm just going to be out straight here with you. When a situation happened here not too long ago where there was a guy arrested for making a threat towards a politician, and all of these phantom threats seem to happen all of the time, and they never provide receipts. Here you have politicians openly, and I mean openly, on social media and on, I would say, even Shannon time here, as you can see here, and you got the guy there that's a councillor. We still have to get to that guy there as well too. Another foreigner as well too that's calling for mad stuff. You've got this guy here saying this. Dublin rioters need a good, honest, decent beating, says Irish senator. Riots that followed a mass, of children should be met with a good, honest, decent beating, Senator Storms in frank remarks. Is that not incitement to violence? Is that not incitement to hatred as well? No. This is where we're at, by the way. These are the politicians now that are gone full mask off as well too. The authoritarian nature of these people has come fully out. The sniffles was the litmus test, and these people saw what they could get away with and did get away with and have still gotten away with. The fact of the matter is that none of these people are in prison for what they did. And I take it back as well too to looking at Gardaí setting up checkpoints to stop people from travelling around the country. And remember, they were busting into masses as well too, busting into churches. Remember that there? You got to just cast your mind back and think about that. And this is what you have a senator saying. Now, I don't know about you, but when you look at little weak, feeble little individuals like this there that's turning around and saying things like this, you were the last person that should really be saying this. That's not a clever thing to say. It's really not. And whatever position this guy is in, see, the Shannon as well too here in Ireland, it's difficult to get these people out of the Shannon, but it's important that people run for positions in there because you've got one or two good individuals that are in the Shannon and the rest of it just seems to be full of absolute idiots, absolute fools. You've got Ronan Mullen that's in there. He seems sound. He seems like he's on the ball with what's going on. And in fairness to him as well, says things that need to be said there and seems to be keeping them in check to a degree, I would also say. But then you've got this here. So, no, is this interest and this sort of energy being shown towards people that are causing mischief here in this country? No, not at all. And when I say that, I'm talking about people that have been imported to this country. No. It's been shown towards the Irish people. So, this is it. Your politicians are openly telling you that they hate you. Your media is telling you the same thing as well. Dublin riots, social media company X or Twitter did not engage with Gardaí, Minister for Justice says. Now that is absolutely hilarious. And that leads me in then to the next video that I'm going to show you, because I'm going to show you this here now. Elon Musk is terrific. Okay? He's been on a recent live stream. I don't know whether it was a live stream or debate or whatever it happened to be, but he was on it recently and he absolutely leveled them. He did. 280 viewers in here tonight as well too. Much appreciated to everyone that's in here listening. And of course, I know there's a couple of Fruit Loops start listening to this because they can't stand the truth. And fuck you is what I'll say. I'll echo the sentiments here of Elon Musk.
Apology
so let's
tour,
have a look at what Elon did there.
This had been
so
said
I suppose
online.
that this was the type
there was
of
all
thing
of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger.
I hope they stop.
Quotes.
You hope
don't advertise.
you don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself.
But
go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think that?
That's class. I'm sure that that's the type of reaction that he gave towards the Irish government. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a live stream or something like that between Helen here, the Wicked Witch of the West there, and Elon Musk and her going, hand over what we need to the Gardaí, and him going, go fuck yourself. Just go fuck yourself. Oh, stop. I think that's absolutely hilarious. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. That's absolutely legendary stuff there. Now, what he was saying there was he was talking about what's going on Twitter, which is there has been an attack on Twitter over the last number of months, and they tried to pull advertising from it, which means funding. And when he said Bob there, I think he's talking about, now an awful lot of people are suggesting he's talking about Bob Iger from Disney. I mean, imagine that there, like he's publicly saying that, like, fuck Disney, which is a big thing. Disney are losing an awful lot of money. But anyway, going back to this here, to more important and pressing things, that's why it's important. Now, it was revealed by Salty Cracker that the Department of Justice in America were keeping information on people that, wait till you hear this one, this is true, that were liking and following and retweeting Donald Trump. Do you know how many followers Donald Trump has on Twitter? He has 87 million followers. I'm one of them. Now, people might say, hey, Donald Trump isn't all that. And look, I agree, there's certain things that he's done and said that I disagree with, and I have to say that's suspect. And people would say, well, you know, he's in part of the gang there as well. I don't disagree with that point, I really don't. But what I will say is that revelation is massive. Now, that sort of spying is going on here now as well too, here in this country. They've rolled it out. They tried to roll it out during the sniffles because remember Stephen Donnelly was talking about having people's GPS locations as well too, to make sure they weren't going outside the 5 kilometers. Remember that one? Well, it's coming back again because they've now gotten the ability to start looking at people's messages and having a spy in there. And very much so, they're talking about having messages between you and a loved one and all of these private things. See the likes of your WhatsApp, by the way. Your WhatsApp will definitely be one of those things because that's controlled by Meta, which is involved with Google. They'll hand over that stuff, no problem at all. So I think the most safe one for at this moment in time, I think, is probably Telegram, maybe. And there's probably a number of other apps that are out there. If someone says it in the chat, maybe some of the other ones that are good. I know that there was a recent one as well too that was shown on the Terminal List. I love that show, by the way. The one with Chris Pratt's great. And a lot of people were saying it straight away afterwards. They were like, it's telling you that's encrypted end to end, but Amazon have all the stuff that's related to that there. I don't think anywhere it's going to be 100% perfect or anything like that, but there certainly are better apps that are out there than WhatsApp. And I know an awful lot of people are on WhatsApp due to the mentality that is there. But the fact of the matter is that these people are openly telling you now that they're spying on you and that they're able to look into your conversations and into your private details and stuff like that. That's where we're at now. You're a private citizen, and these people that are not interested in telling you the legitimate truth are people that are going to be looking through your stuff. Not good. It's not good. And people seem to not care about that stuff as much as they should. So Irish Times put this out. They said Dublin riots, social media company X or Twitter did not engage with Gardaí. Minister for Justice says, I love that. I love that. I love the fact that they turned around and said, no. Now, Elon must have made serious changes at Twitter already in Dublin or certainly in Ireland or wherever these people are trying to get the information from, because that would have definitely happened. They would have handed over everything they would have before he acquired that. That's why he's such an important part of this cultural shift and this cultural situation. This is entirely cultural, what's happening here. This is why you're seeing the likes of the left losing steam. They're not getting boosted anymore. The analytics isn't working out for them. Now, last week, I would say last Thursday evening, I flagged it, and so did many other people. And along them with news sites that were talking about the analytics pushing people of a specific nature, and have been trying to do it as well too since. Like, I'm not getting promoted an awful lot of people on their side since then. So there's still an awful lot of work to be made and done with Twitter. But when it comes to this here, I love the fact that they just told him basically, nah, get out of here, we've no interest in that. But this maneuver and this move to try and reel it in, Hazel Chew as well too was on spouting over as well, saying that they should have to be accountable and held to responsibility by the government. This government are way out of control. Corruptions are an all-time high in this country, allegedly, spectively. And these people are then turning around, like Hazel Chew there, old Egypt there that she is turning around and saying, oh, we should be looking over that and Elon Musk should be answering to us. No, I don't think he should. I actually think Elon Musk has shown more responsibility than anybody within the DAO. I think he's been more good for society and for people and for the conversations that have happened than anybody sitting in that DAO ever was or ever will be. This is where we're at. This is authoritarianism now stepping itself out again. We have this here. Man made certain remarks to scare Dublin city centre shop worker. Man threatened a frightened shop assistant in a city centre store, making certain comments and leaving her visibly shaking a cord heard. Clearly not Irish there as well too. Why is he still here in the country? 33-year-old should have been bounced out of the country then. You know what I mean? Irish opinion, 1 in 4. Irish Times, this is coming. 1 in 4 workers here. 1 in 4 at work in Ireland was not born here. Without them, it would be a poorer country. I disagree on that. I think people would have more money they would if less people were here from other countries. But the point is that that's 25%. So you see how that looks? So a quarter, 25% there. 1 in 4. That's not good. That's not a positive. Like, that's a huge number when you think about it, isn't it? 25%. They try and see, this is how the media works. They try and utilize percentages when it goes their way. When they go, 49% don't agree with what the far right are saying. And you go, okay, well, that means 51% do. But they would try and use the 49%. But just say, I'm not saying 49%. I think it's way lower than that. I think they probably have about maybe 10%. I think maybe 10% of people really agree with the far left, the radical left. And I think most people look at that, and I think most people are in agreement, and I think there's a percentage out there that are just indifferent, are just going through life, going through the motions, and not paying any sort of heed or attention to it, you know. But 25% is a huge number as well too. That's an eye-opener for a lot of people. Desperate to push the narrative of foreigners being afraid. ICTU workers rally in Dublin. Here's a solidarity against the far right. So instead of what happened to the kids and gathering together for that, these people showed up and did a photo op which had loads of smiles and said foreigners are totally welcome here. Bizarre weirdos, you know what I mean? The Journal there as well too. Excuse me, I misspoke there. The Journal says Helen McEntee riot, says November 2023. More spoof there from Helen, of course, there. Data retention for the Gardaí. Nothing good comes of giving them more powers, what I said there. Highest number of asylum applications filed on record last year. Over 13,600 people applied for international protection last year. Deny them all. That's the simple thing that should be happening from here. Dublin riots there. Not a single interview with the families of kids that had that happen to them, but the goofies were going around asking foreigners to write asking questions to write this. So this was actually an article. It's not popped up here for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it was asking them how they were feeling, if they were afraid, and of course, a number of them are obliged, and a couple of them said things in the article that I was like, well, that's interesting. They were saying, well, criminality is happening here all the time anyway, and there doesn't seem to be a presence of Gardaí. I was like, whoa, that goes against the narrative, for sure, for sure. We got this as well too. I don't know why this isn't showing up, but sure, look. Independent.ie says, World News, a father takes out his own daughter over appearing in a picture on social media in an honour, you know what there. But this is what we're important. We're important that sort of stuff there, where a father has literally the daughter is no longer on this plane of existence, and he did it because she had a picture with a fella and had her arm around him, or he had her arm around her, one or the other there. Like, nothing. And this happened in Pakistan. Leitrim checkpoints. So people are standing up and they're saying, no, we're going to form checkpoints there. Of course, the government are very upset about that. They're saying that's totally illegal and people shouldn't be doing that. But here's the thing. When people aren't looking after us like in uniform, that's what people do. The Irish Times say this then: tasers, water cannons and stronger pepper sprays among planned measures for Gardaí. Clown more stuff here. Really is there. That energy should be redistributed into the likes of actually having a border, into immigration, into deportation. And what do they do? Now, I'll tell you what, we're going to use some stuff there that we can assault people with. Great idea there, guys. Allegedly, speculatively on that. Body cameras, Gardaí legislation has gone through. So I don't think that that's going to work out too well for them, to be quite honest. I can foresee, and again, allegedly, speculatively, I can foresee an awful lot of deleted and lost footage there. I do. Allegedly, speculatively on that one. Spending in Dublin sinks 46% after riots. So this is the key concern from the media, by the way. That's why you're seeing an article like this up above there when they're saying foreigners are feeling afraid here in Ireland. This is what they do. We're down. The shopping is down. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? First of all, the stuff is too expensive. Second of all, this is it. This is what I'm saying, and I've been saying it for a long time. Consumerism is what these people value most. The media are all linked in with that as well too. They want you to be a huge consumer, and they don't want you to see what's going on, what's real. They don't want you doing it. They don't want you keeping an eye on what's happening and saying, oh, that doesn't actually work out for us here. They're not interested. Drama here. So there's people that are setting up their barriers, their checkpoints as well too. So it's causing a bit of bother. Local politicians don't know what to do because they're like, do we condemn this and lose our seats potentially then in the next election? That's why the countryside's important. People are going out of their own accord and they're checking people coming in. They're like, the people in the local area are interrogating people. Listen, if I was them, I suppose that makes sense. Again, allegedly, speculatively. Because you're going, who's this moving into my area? What are they doing? What's the plan? Social affairs there as well too. Government may reconsider placing asylum seekers in areas where there's tension, says Minister. So they've opened up and they've told you there that you win. So the fact of the matter is this: they've actually told you now that if you're in an area that's deciding to refuse these people, well, they're going to listen now. They're like, oh, okay. So I suppose Dalkey is going to get some enrichment. Dunleary's going to get some enrichment. And a number of all of these other posh areas that people want to go, refugees are welcome here. We'll see how long you have that shtick when these people are forced into your areas, because guess what's happening? In normal, average areas, and people that are here and they are considered to be common folk by you people, they've had enough of these people being shoved into their areas. So you're going to get a bit of a taste of it, and we'll see how you do with it. There's been a lot of allegations about them posh areas where people have been using the legal system and legal framework, again, allegedly, speculatively, to keep these people out and keep centres out of their areas, again, allegedly, speculatively. Crime law. Dublin riots instigators exploited Irish language to evade online moderators. So they're using everything they can. So you've got TG Carr saying people that are on this side of the fence don't use Irish. Now you've got the Irish Times that are saying, yeah, they do. Which is it? Which is it? You're not keeping your story straight there, guys. So we'll keep going here with a little bit of this now before we check out here in a little while. I don't know how long the stream's going on. It's about 2 hours now. I know it was late tonight. People be messing in the chat. They'd be saying, that's Ninja Night back to normal there. So you've got Elon here as well too. This is the new meme that's sharing around now. This is December's meme for sure. I don't know whether we've gotten into... I don't know whether this would probably be considered a November meme as well too. But we'll wait and see. Don't know why that didn't show up. But anyway, we'll see it in a sec. So this councillor is in serious bother. So the media went running around and said that this guy was the first Muslim councillor. This guy, by the way, is an immigrant to this country, and he was undocumented. What does undocumented mean? I hear you ask. That means that this guy came here without any documents and was here legally, and they legalized him. The government legalized this guy. And that's after totally going up in smoke here in front of their very eyes. This is a huge problem. They're even talking about Fianna Fáil, right? Now, it should have happened yesterday. But Fianna Fáil are talking about expelling them. Excuse me for that. They're talking about expelling them. They haven't done it yet, from what I understand. But this is what's happening. Now, I'll tell you what, lads. The snake pit is large. Because this dude is now saying that he didn't say it about rioters. He said it about the guy that attacked the kids. Now, here's where I stand when it comes to this, right? When he says this, when he says those comments, now when he says them, that's a plural, right? Now, unless this fella's involved, I don't know, maybe the attacker or something like that is perhaps maybe one of these gender fluid people. That'd be really bad for the mainstream media and really bad for politicians. I'm not making light of the situation. What I'm saying is, it's an unusual thing to say them. What does that mean? That means multiple people, doesn't it? So, I don't see a pile-on from the media, by the way. And whilst they've been attacking, whilst the entire apparatus has been attacking Gript over the last 24 hours, doesn't seem to be any media outlet attacking any other media outlet with relation to the story with this guy. So there's conflicting reports happening. The initial reports that have happened were ones like these, where this guy was talking, according to them, about the rioters, and people picked up on that, and they took umbrage with that, because for obvious reasons. This guy then was contacted on the phone, and I've seen the video that's out there, and they asked him who he was talking about, and he said, I was talking about the person that attacked the kids. And do you know what was interesting about the conversation that was had with him, and that one that was recorded, was that he then said, I released a recording, you'll hear me say it, and I was like, oh wow, because if that's true, now listen, if I was in his shoes, right, and I was in a spot about it like this, the last thing I do is inflame the situation by saying I didn't say that, and this is recording is out there. If he was indeed talking about the rioters, but the fact that he said it multiple times in the recording, like on the video of just show the recording, you know that I didn't say it, I was like, holy moly! If that happens to be true, most people, to be fair, if he was talking about the dude that did the attacking, I think most people would be on his side. I know I would be. I would be like, if you're talking about the attacker, and that's you legitimately mean that, hey, okay. Now, there's people that are out there, right? And they're going, you're bringing these ways and these customs into this country. Okay. 15, 20 years ago, maybe longer, I think everyone would have shared the same opinion of this guy when it came to the attacker, if you were going to take this opinion on board. I think most people would have said that. The fact was that, and you have, listen, it's been clown world here. Joe Brolly called the fella who attacked the kids last Thursday a gentleman, right? He was like, you're the gentleman, and he was attacked by people. And I was looking, and I was just, people would be like, that's one of the worst Joe Brolly impressions I've ever heard. Listen, the Leo Varadkar one's much better. Listen, guys, okay. Joe Brolly, he's a guy that I think very highly of, okay? So anyway, you've got Joe Brolly out there talking about the gentleman. He's talking about him, and he's saying people formed a ring around him. And I'm looking at him going, are you crediting people with that? Because 20 years ago, that there was only one outcome from there, allegedly, speculatively. Again, I'm not endorsing or supporting anything here. But I'm just saying that if that guy who attacked the kids ended up in specific prisons here in this country, I think people that are inmates there would probably have more morals and more principles than most people running around in politics nowadays. Let's just say that. Allegedly, speculatively. So this is an interesting thing that's happening now, because I think most people, if he says this about the attacker and it comes to be true, there's some people that are out there that are telling lies and trying to throw this fellow under the bus for some unbeknownst reasons. If he's saying about rioters or people that gather together to protest, on the other hand, that's a big problem we have at hand. So we'll see how that one shakes out there. That's going to be interesting. The BBC decided to put on there, and a lot of people call her Chairman Chew. 10k views on this video, 35 likes, 96 comments, ratioed to bits here anywhere, because a lot of people are wild to this woman. She says, one's right to be here is not up for debate. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I would deport this woman. I said earlier in the show, I would deport this woman so fast you wouldn't believe it. It'd be one of the first things I'd do if I ran this country. I'd be like, right, you're out, you're gone, out you go. And Varadkar's going to follow you there as well too. He's out, he's done. Former Lord Mayor of Dublin, Hazel Chew. I'm sure the Brits are looking at this and they're like, what the fuck is going on in Ireland? I'm sure they're looking at this going like, hang on, guys. Hang on. We were there for 800 years causing mischief. And you've turfed us out. And literally, guys, within 100 years, you've handed it over to people like this. I don't know about you. I'm sure the Brits that are out there that are scratching their head and don't know what's going on. I'm sure they're looking at Sinn Féin. They're like, these people turfed us out and spent an awful lot of energy and still do turfing us out, but they're importing the same problems that we're having here in Britain. I'm sure there's people that are out there. They're actually commenting on it. There's loads of people here that are there's loads of people that comment on this channel from Britain and England. They're like, you fucked us out and you put these people in. And they're right. They have to laugh about it, but they are right when they say that. About Ireland's immigration policies. An absolute disaster that this individual is here in this country making any sort of note. And this comes from Thoughts Toby as well too. By the way, Toby was putting it out. There was another individual as well too that was out there spouting nonsense. Catholic Church, I'll just jump in and talk about them for a moment. Pope Francis, again, signaling to us there that he's not one of us and he's certainly not someone that needs to be trusted at all. He describes the masculinizing of the church as a great sin that needs resolution. He stressed the importance of recognizing the unique capacity women have for theological reflection, which differs from that of men. That's a negative. This is a negative. This is a big problem. Women have different capacity for theological reflection than we men do, he said, highlighting the necessity for more female representation in theological discussions. I disagree. I think we need less. I mean, there's proof as to why you should have less involved. Seriously. I really mean that. Because you got to look at the woods from the trees here, guys. You know what I mean? We've had people that have run around and have said ridiculous things. And what I mean by this as well, too, is people think that's a bit harsh. But I've seen some of those podcasts that are ran by women and the degeneracy that happens in those podcasts, the one-upmanship that's happening in those podcasts, it's unbelievable. Freakish stuff that's been said on those things. Honestly. This is still a great quote. And I have to be honest with you, when you look at the Nolan trilogy as well too, I'm not sure whether Nolan was being prophetic or whatever like that, but when you look at what was supposed to be the villains in that, you have to look at them again and go, they were right when they said certain things, you know. And that's the sign, I suppose, of a good villain in a movie as well, when you go, I get where they're coming from, you know, I see what they mean. And they also have some absolute bangers of a quote. And here's one. Criminals thrive in the indulgence of society's understanding. And that's what we have here in this country. We have rampant criminality because people are understanding of it. He had mental health issues. I don't give a fuck if he had a mental health issue. He should be in jail. They're going to try and eulogize this guy, by the way, that did what he did last Thursday to the kids. They're already doing it. Joe Brodley's calling them gentlemen. And then he's going, we should spray people with water canyons when they get down to Dublin. And I'm looking at it going, this fella's calling the dude that did what he did to the kids, calling him a gentleman, and then he's talking about water cannon people. Like, bizarro stuff. Now, Joe Brodley's wife, by the way, is related to Joe Biden, if you didn't know that, okay? That's a clear and obvious situation that's going on there. And I thought for a long time that Joe Brodley's wife had actually gained access to his account, allegedly, expectedly, and was posting the far left stuff that was going on. But no, Joe's out saying these things himself, and he's out there in news talk as well. So look, the longer we indulge and understand this sort of nonsense from the left-hand side, the longer it goes on. And people have decided not to indulge it anymore, which is great. A quote from Muhammad Ali. Of course, about two people would say you're an istophobe, but then you quote Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali had this great quote. Now, this quote was actually in reference to white people. So, as you know as well too, Muhammad Ali was a very big black supreme, of course, as well too. It doesn't get talked about, but people want to drag up how he was such a great boxer and try and overshadow all the other sort of stuff that he said as well too, with the racial undertones and that as well. But sometimes a broken clock is right twice a day. And here we have this one. If 10,000 snakes were coming down that aisle now, and I had a door that I could shut, and in that 10,000, 1,000 meant right, 1,000 rattlesnakes didn't want to bite me. I knew they were good. Should I let all these rattlesnakes come down, hoping that they that the 1,000 get together and form a shield, or should I just close the door and stay safe? Now, that is a super important quote, and I'm going to use this because I think that filters in and it links into immigration. Why should we leave the door wide open? You wouldn't leave your hall door open to your house, you wouldn't. You'd close it. So why should we leave our doors open to whatever is coming in from everywhere? As I said before, we need to have a very tough and stringent vetting process of people that come into this country. We don't need guys from Nigeria or Pakistan or India to be shopkeepers and security guards. We have enough people here that are willing to fill those jobs. We don't need it. If you have a neurosurgeon that comes from another country and we don't possess that neurosurgeon here, I have no qualms with that, because that person is coming with an experience and with usefulness to this country that we don't have and can educate people then, which will then help. No qualms with that. But we don't need Brazilian Deliveroo drivers. I don't think so. Now, we know that you have the one guy that's out there that's been part of the, I would say, intervening of what went on last Thursday. I think it's very strange that they're still doing interviews and they're rolling him out, but the Irish fella's been told not to say anything. Pending case now at that, but the foreign lad can run around, not bother and say what he says. Then you've got the Filipino nurse there with the blonde hair. He's like something out of Kajagugu. And this is a guy that running around, doesn't know how to take a pulse or anything like that, and has now been outed in the last 48 hours that he does acting. And I'm like, big yikes on that one there, guys. That doesn't look good at all. Certainly doesn't look good. He's in the Jemison ad as well too here. You know what I mean? You got to look at those and go, what's happening? It's wonky. And you've seen all the same play that's happening in America. We've got a couple of different memes here that I'll show you. This is from yesterday. Fianna Fáil TDs and centre say position of Justice Minister is untenable. Criticism of McAtee over failure to tackle danger in capital. We'll wait and see on that one. I don't think that they'll do much. I think they'll just leave her as it is. I don't think Sinn Féin will want to take the reins now anytime soon. Because I think if it went to an election, I think people probably would. I think people are still, in the masses, I think are still a little bit coddled by Sinn Féin. But I don't think they want to have a go at it. I really don't. I would highly doubt it. What are you in for? Made a meme that the Irish government didn't like. Now Shawshank. Suspect in horror Dublin crash attack was in court on knife charge 5 months ago. It's failure of the system, isn't it? Sir Doge of the coin, or Sir Dog of the coin, whatever way. It's evident that the Irish government does not have the best intentions for its Irish citizens. And Elon Musk responded to that and he said, the current Irish government clearly cares more about praise from woke media than their own people. Facts. Elon Musk weighing in on this situation in Ireland has been absolutely so important. The fact is that we have so many people that are on the right side of history right now, as things stand, that are siding with us, that it just vindicates you and vindicates everything that's been said over the last number of months and indeed years. We keep going here as well. So this was only the next couple of days? Excuse me. Right after our school, another guard protecting our kids. I'm so angry. Not even a week after a horrific knife attack on school kids and teachers. Leo Faragher and Gardaí were tagged in that. You've got a person there that's drinking on the steps of the premises there. Now, some people, of course, straight away, were straight in. And they were like, he has a mental health issue. Just hang on for a second. If you were the government, you can't afford another PR disaster so soon. You really can't. And this is a PR disaster that they're having right now again. And they're having it not a week after what happened. You would think if these people had any shred of intellect that they would go, make sure there's 2 people outside that place at all times and that they're hanging around. And at the very least, make sure that there's people visible on that street. But no. It was, let's be super visible on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And after that then, let's forget about it. I'm telling you now, it's 1 week on from what happened. Give it till next week. They will try and make you forget. They're already memory holding this situation. They're already trying to move on. Virgin Media and other places are saying, we're going to have a look at Dublin riots there, guys. And Mary Lou's out there as well too. You can see what's happening. It's very clear to see. They're trying to push her forward to be Taoiseach. And they're trying to use that situation towards the evening to move that on forward as if she's going to quell any sort of dissent. Won't happen. So this move that's happening from them, again, it doesn't help then that a PR exercise like this wasn't carried out. At the very least, if you had any shred of intellect, if you're in the government, you would send people down and say, stand there and guard the place there, either 24/7 or I would do it during the day, so that none of these sort of images get out. But not a shit did these people give, because not even a week later, this was what's seen on the steps there. And of course, the left will go, he has issues, he has an alcohol issue, that's not his fault. But you're missing the point. The parents haven't even been engaged with. They said that they've gone to meetings and not a TD nor a member of An Garda Síochána have turned up to these meetings. And they don't know what's going on. So this is what we have here in this country. We have politicians that do not care a jot about the people and openly are showing their disdain towards you. Now, you have people in the Shannons calling for the beating of people publicly. You've now got a councillor now that's in hot water because he's been saying things, and now he's saying, oh, I didn't say that like that. I was saying about someone else. So who's telling the truth? His English is very poor as well too. Anyway, I don't think anybody should be coming into this country that doesn't have anywhere near what will I say? If you're coming into this country and you don't have a grasp of the English language, you shouldn't be coming into the country. I mean, it's like me going to China and deciding to live there and not having any Chinese. Be laughed out of the country. They wouldn't be helping you. They'd be going, no, get out of here. Your 15-minute city starts here. So this allegedly was taken down in St. George's Quay. I don't know whether that's an accurate picture or anything like that, but if anyone's down there, have a look and share that out there, because if that's the case, that's big problems that are afoot. We'll keep going here. From this on Garda Síochána and Garda Info, like this tweet here, so I shared that video out. That video is doing good numbers at the moment, which is positive. Some of you may have noticed the account that I created to expose the far right. What this idiot was doing was she was only connecting people together. I didn't know about Satirical Soldier before this moron decided to post about him. I didn't know about Derek Bloig or various other people that were out there until this moron posted them out. So thanks. Streisand Effect has now brought people together. Fair play to you. Far right in Ireland and further afield, Ireland Against Fashion has been removed from this platform. Boom. That's justice. I speak on behalf of all of our admins when I say this is a dark day for democracy and for free speech. Stop. Here we have a post here from one of the parents from the school where the attack occurred last Thursday. As a parent of Gael School, Coláiste, it seemed scary sending my babies into school this morning, but I know the principal and teachers will do everything in their power to help them. I can't even begin to imagine how the parents of the victims are feeling, thinking of them and all their families. Of course, you'll have some smug leftist that'll be attacking the fact of the grammar not being correct here, or the spelling. But going to a meeting this morning, after dropping the kids off to school, thinking we would get some answer for everything going around in our heads the weekend. But no, nobody from the government was there. No guards to answer our safety questions, no local TDs, councillors, ministers, who were all quick enough to show their faces in the news programmes on Thursday and Friday expressing their sorrow, but not one there to help us in these strange times. Who do you think she's talking about there in particular? Why is there men's only hostels on the same road as the school? Why are people allowed to sit directly across from the school drinking? Is it true that the man who carried out this unthinkable crime on innocent children was seen hanging around the area the day before? And many, many more frustrating questions that all of us as parents deserve answers to. Our little school has been forgotten about too many times by our government and other departments, and even though it is in the heart of the city, our children deserve to feel safe in their surroundings. Schools should be a safe place for them. So there you go. That's what a parent feels like in the school, and fair play to her for speaking out. You know, there's an awful lot of people that are afraid to speak out, and indeed, fair play is what I'd say, because that's what's needed. We need to be open and transparent in this country. This nonsense of hiding behind things and saying nothing anymore. It's over. It's done. Finished. This is a picture that done the rounds not too long ago. This is Drew Harris there of An Garda Síochána. Pop belly on him there. Of course, there. The bitch tits as well too. Fair play to him. And this, again, is an allegedly a picture allegedly that was in the Garda station, allegedly respectively, and that'd be the Antifa flag that's there. So again, allegedly respectively on that one there. So that's supposed to be on George's Quay. If anyone gets the chance to get down there and sees that sign, let me know. That'd be great. That did the rounds there a couple of days ago. So that's all happening in the background as well too. They're all moving towards that too whilst all of this is going on. That's the Elon Musk video. Absolute quality. And I did that video then as well. Shared it twice there. Wicklow School bids farewell to principal after 13 years of service. And I said, why are there no men pictured? Are there any men there? I mean, there you go. A lot of people don't know, by the way, that you have a high percentage of people now, a high percentage of kids that are going from a single parent household into school, and the large majority, over 80% of it, is females. So when you see this sort of woke leftist ideologies, women at large are more susceptible to the woke leftism they are, whereas men are like, no, rationally this is nonsense or this. So that's why when you see that sort of stuff, they don't make a drive for equality in professions, and specific professions. Have you ever noticed that? They don't want that equality to be there at all. Government may not have accommodation for all asylum seekers, but they keep bringing them in, though. They keep moving them on in. That's from the Salty Cracker group there. Crisis in Ireland, stuff out in Sinn Féin. Then you've got Mary Lou there. There's the Gardaí there as well. And then we're all caught up with what happened there. Ironically, the Irish PM hates the Irish people. Based Elon Musk. Fair play to him. That's a good one to leave off on this one. So, guys, thanks very much for being here. I said it earlier on the show. If you're not in there at that time, I'm just letting you know that the stream is going to be 8 o'clock next Thursday. So I'd appreciate if people turn up there. I probably... Well, obviously, it'd be left up, and then on the Friday, if people want to view it then at the normal time, if you don't have the time on Thursday, that's grand. I don't expect big numbers on the Friday, or on the Thursday, excuse me. Don't expect big numbers there. There's been a big number here tonight now. It's over 250 here tonight. So thanks very much for being in here and listening to me talk about what's happening here in this country over the last 2.5 hours. So 2.5 hours we've been going for. So thank you for that. I'll be back next week as well too. Look after yourselves. God bless is what I will say to the good people that are out there, the decent people that are listening now here. Any far leftists that's decided to wander on in here tonight, get fucked. Go fuck yourself is what I'll say there, and continue to do so. This is our country, and we're not going to be giving up on this country anytime soon. And we will restore semblance, and we will restore order to this country, this great nation that's not going to be forgotten and not going to be left behind. We've Angela that's in here as well too that says hello, good to see you here. Eric Callahan says have a drink on me, you deserve it. I'm just joining, lol, so far a bit behind. Great stream as always, thanks very much. We've got Mike is in here as well too. Great username outside there. Leo Veradiger concerns us on social media, but parties and social gatherings aren't forbidden. Yeah, we will always find a way to stop tyranny. That's a great point there, Mike, because they did try to test that out there over the course of the sniffles. They did want to stop all of that from happening, and they wanted to see how they could do it. And especially as well too, when they had, you can't have more than 2 households gathering. That was because everybody knows I was that person, we're in the family, that would go somewhere and be like, this is all nonsense, this is absolute codswallop. So if I'm there, bad news, because I'm telling you that it's all lies. But here's the thing, there's more people that were buying into the lies that are realising they were lies now, that are actually coming out and speaking about them, and it's great to see. Derek Manson is there. This is mod up. Era only B1014. He's here every week. Absolutely. I must do that as well too. That's a fair point there, Derek. Fair play. We will do that. Sound from another stream. Ninja says armchair Limerick nationalist. Much appreciated for that one there. So I'll just scan through the chat. I forgot to say at the earlier point of the stream when I said at Ninja Night that would help out things. So I'll try and fly through it now and see how things. Wildside is in here. Says hi Ninja. Lot of love for Ferg in the chat there as well as always. Ellie Green says that FG Senator Sean Coyne said that the people told him that the protesters who rioted should be beaten badly. He should be sacked. We'll have to wait and see. Kevin McMahon says Grip are the only ones putting them questions to government that 76% of the native Irish want to ask. I still see Grip Media as my number one Irish non-fake news media or for the Irish. I totally agree with you on that one as well. I know the likes of the Ditch have exposed themselves as well over the last while. They've gone mad into the nonsensical stuff as well too, so they're finished as well too as far as people are concerned. It's interesting, isn't it, how things like that happen, and grave situations happen, and people just really reveal themselves as to who they are. So it's good. I've said it beforehand. I was like, I had to keep a question mark around them, and it's been proven right there. But in fairness to Grip, they're doing their thing. They are, when it comes to apologies as well too. Fairness to them, they held their hands up with it when it comes to that. But I suppose when you're living in times like these where you've got, I think people were saying that there was a media outlet not too long ago that did an AI generated article, and then they tried to sweep it under the carpet. They were like, oh, we're not going to talk about that now. Says it all. We have a very duplicitous media here in this country, and it's continuing on. I know that for a fact that they hate the likes of streams like this. They absolutely despise things like this where people are out there talking about how things are. Era only B1014 forces who would not be replaced. Sheepdogs in here says thanks Ninja as well too. Much appreciated. Two lads, absolutely, or ladies, I don't know, misgendering you, am I there, guys? They're in here all the time. Fair play to you. People are a fan of Hazel Chew in the chat there as well too. Makes sense. People saying she cooks in me in stir fry. I don't think she cooks anything. Not with the waiver. Anyway, Paddy Murphy O'Connor says, Ninja Knight, you really have a thing for Hazel Chew with a laughing face. Finola Murkus says she puts on a weird accent. Born in Dublin. 100%. Ford XL Ninja Knight. Paddy Murphy O'Connor says Cartman Ninja Knight. Cartman, yeah. Cartman was messing about, yeah. For sure. We'll wait and see how things go. For sure, with the likes of Grips as well too, because you know they're over their target and they're peeving an awful lot of people off, which is a good thing when that happens, and they're bothering them. That's good. But as I said before as well too, not the biggest fan of John McGurk at all. You know, interesting timing, but let's keep going. But that's why I would just say this as well too, and I'll say it on stream. We've got also as well just before we jump into that comment there. Hang on. I get sent the information all the time from Finola Murk, who's in here as well too. Thanks very much, Finola. Good to see you here. She says spring is coming. I get information sent to me as well too all the time. I got information sent during the week from an account that I don't know, and they were saying some pretty big things, and I was like, okay. And they were like, you can share the information out there, share the people and that. And I was like, yeah, thanks, but I won't be doing that because again, look, we have to play the game. Insofar as you have to wait. I know it's counterproductive, and I agree as well too an awful lot of the time that it'd be great if this side of the defence were forced out with things, because it legitimises this side of the defence a lot more than waiting for the others then to come out and say what they're going to say, and they're just dragging it on and dragging their heels when it comes to things, and then an awful lot of it loses momentum. Like I've done videos before where, you know, an incident occurs and then months later I do the video and people are like, this happened months ago, and I'm like, yeah, but the full facts weren't known at the time. So I can't really post a video and then like, you know what I'm saying? I always generally give it about, that's why the videos even this week as well too have been sort of staggered and I've been waiting to see how things go. I usually give it between 24 to 72 hours. That's generally the thing that most people do when they're on this side of the fence, because you just can't trust certain institutions and certain statements that are made until it's verifiably confirmed, and then you can go, well, they're saying it, you know what I mean? And then the blowback is on them then, specifically when that happens. So yeah, I got information sent to me this week, and I saw one person in particular ran with that same information. Now, if that ends up being true, what this person said, that's similar information that's been going around with relation. I can't get into it too much, obviously, but one person publicly put a video out there that amassed apparently 500,000 views on TikTok before it was deleted. I think most people that are in here probably know what I'm talking about. But that same information has been sent around, and it's online in particular. Now, if that information is true, I think it's it. I think it's it for the media. I think it's it for the government and some other institutions here in this country, if that happens to be true, because there's no coming back from that. But the information, you can't, in one way, unless it's verified, you can't just release it in that way. Because whilst it is shocking and it's shocking, what if it's wrong? Is what I'd say. Do you know what I mean? So you gotta be keeping an eye on that. Hector, is it Hector there? Hector Savage says Patrick Costello must be the biggest cook going. Imagine waking up to Chew and her Cartman voice every morning. Oh man, be not good at all. Kevin Dalton says, off topic here, but anyone see the Napoleon movie? Thought it was class, but got bad reviews. Visually, it was stunning, especially the scenes in Russia. It's supposedly historically inaccurate. Kevin McMahon says, well, I'm going to buy Connor's new beer and post it in support over this Christmas, especially since Guinness sold off native Irish back in the day 100 years ago, giving their trucks to Black and Tans. Fair play, 100%. Leanne Curtis is in here as well too. Says, on my Instagram page, my own recordings of Dublin last week, it was foreigners that were looting. Yeah, and all the images that came out then as well too. They stepped away from that looting stuff pretty quickly as well too. And I know there was a couple of videos as well that came out as well of Gardaí stepping into places. Now, a lot of people were saying that at the time the Gardaí were stepping into these places. They were clearing out windows as they could go in and see if there was people in there. Again, I don't know. From the videos, there was people accusing the Gardaí of breaking the windows and setting it up to make it look like that people were after breaking in. I don't think that that's the case. I think that from what I could see, it seemed like that they were clearing the debris and they were going in to see if there was anybody actually in the place. That's my opinion. Again, I don't know whether that's correct or not. The Dub says, Ninja Knight, not 100% confirmed, but you'll be waiting forever for the mainstream media to tell you. Apparently, yeah, I'm not going to read the rest of that there, but you will wait forever. But I think it's important to wait, before making any claims that could be untrue. And again, as I said beforehand, full thoughts and prayers go towards the victims and their families. It's harrowing stuff. No One's Flair says, Ninja Knight, a few videos on my channel about protests this evening at the Square. Good stuff. Derek Mann says Dave Cullen is not in the chat tonight. Dave Cullen was in here before he was, and like I went through a whole stream. Dave Cullen's probably, this fella ignore me here. What's going on? The chat were shouting. They were like, Dave's in here. Derek, that was the time to hit me up on Instagram and let me know. Anyway, this stream seemed to have went smoothly, which is good. That's a positive. Didn't seem to be any glitches here tonight, unlike last week. Last week, it cut off for about 5 minutes. It did. Kevin Naughton says, Ninja Knight, I stuck Tony Hula Hoop book in the true crime section. I'd recommend we all do the same. People talking about Shane McGowan as well, too, in the chat. Liam Malloy says, hi all, new to the channel, up in Dundalk. How are you getting on Dundalk? Ron Burgundy says, who the F is actually pushing for these silly laws? I don't know one person who will be supportive of this hate speech manure. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It's like when you meet people as well, too. I do it all the time. And I always say to people, let people know by asking them, did you vote for the Green Party? That's what I always say to people. People go, no. And I go, do you know anybody that voted for them? And they go, no. And I'd say, but they're part of the government. That's strange, isn't it? You just let them think. No One's Flower says, Ninja Knight, you are the real evening news. Thanks very much. Much appreciated there, guys. I've seen way less people this year as well, too, posting that late show, fucking toy show bollocks Odysee where they're out. Oh, I'm there. We're all in matching pajamas here and we have to get the sweets in. I'm like, why are you still watching on RTE? What's that about? Said it last week. Said it the same. Again this week. Let's keep going through the chat now and see what's going on as well. 219 people still in here just listening to me read the chat. Thanks very much. This is basically the after show to decompress and have a chat with the people that are here, which I appreciate. People turning up here and reading through the chat. I won't get to all the chats, obviously, as well. But the ones that are at Ninja Knight. Let's keep going here through the chat and see what's happening as well, too. Frank Barnes says the Lotus Eaters looking at the Irish politicians said it's like a time warp 7 to 10 years behind everyone else. Yeah, now I know those guys get a big push from a lot of people, but I don't know. I've looked at a couple of things they do. I do agree with what they're saying, but on the flip side, I don't know how they got so big so quickly. That's very hard to do on this platform. Like I'm seeing now at the moment that this channel is starting to grow a good bit. I think it's up to 6,400 subscribers. It just broke 6,000 last week. So the move to 7 is on pretty quickly. I don't know whether it's going to snowball from here. I don't know whether it's going to get bigger from there. But in saying that, I do also think that maybe there is a turn happening on YouTube. Maybe YouTube's algorithms are changing. But I do think that someone that amasses 100,000 subscribers out of nowhere is very suspect. Kevin Naughton says, Ninja Knight, it was common technique throughout Irish history to eliminate an opponent's language to fully take over said country. The Irish language revival was one of the Gaelic League's main goals. Hugely important. Billy the Kid says, only a matter of time before TG Carr hires a black person who can speak Irish. Watch the space. Probably the fella that's running for election there that was trying to insult Philip Dwyer. You know? No doubt they'll give him the job. CST, legislatively. Ninja Knight, they don't want it in Irish because they can't speak it and it's been left out of translation buttons. But it's a good thing. Wink, wink. An awful lot of people here, fans of the people in uniform. Can't say I'm surprised, you know. Sean Delap says the Gardaí should be completely neutral politically and investigate crimes and their merits without bias of any sort. I agree. I agree for sure. Again, as I said, and I keep reiterating all the time, I'm for law and order. I support that. I endorse it 100%. But what I don't like is when I see incidents like those when I go, now that's out of bounds. Particularly when you see what's happening here in our beautiful country. But I definitely wouldn't be trusting them with any sort of new powers. Not at all. They haven't shown in the past that they've been trustworthy with regards to situations, allegedly, speculatively. Let's keep going. People are really shocked as well too from what's happening. Chesney looks like Kathy Bates, says Ninja Knight, says sheepdog. It's amazing how someone can doll themselves up in those pictures. You can't trust these things anymore, guys. You can't trust these online apps at all. Point Man's in here, says, sorry I'm late. I'll catch from the start. Was up the north getting the Christmas stuff. Good to see you here. Ulster Boy says, if you got called far right for being against children, getting what happened to them there last Thursday afternoon, so be it. Yeah, imagine that. People are, you're far right, you are. Hang on here. We're against children being attacked here. But see, the left, on the other hand, and when, as I said earlier on there, there's a reason why they're called the left, because you can't call them specific other words, obviously, online. But when they're full on in on the likes of repealing the 8 and all that, you have to understand, if they don't care about that, they're certainly not going to care about people when they're alive. They really don't. I see people saying in the chat there about Imelda May. That's another fool. That's another clown. And that's the type of person that's utilised by the likes of the regime and the apparatus. The apparatus just keeps moving itself into other people and uses them as much as they can. And Imelda May is none of those people. Good singer and all like that, but absolute fool. Ninja Knight, even Americans can't find Ray Epps. He was called out as the Fed the night before the Capitol tour, says Johnny Boy. Yeah, that's an interesting one as well, too. Yeah, man's running around the place. Yeah, man's running around the place there, and there doesn't seem to be anyone picking him up. People send me that stuff all the time. I think I got about 6 or 7 different people that were sending me the Imelda May poem. We need more blacks, more dogs, more Irish. It's like, listen, how many of them are living in your gaff with you? How many are you putting up? You know? You're all full of that sort of stuff there, and the endangerment then of people, of course, there as well. And you be the very person that be crying in 5 to 10 years. And you see it happening all the time. Policies start happening. Salty Cracker does videos on it all the time, where there was someone there recently in America. Excuse me, sorry about that. Where someone in America, a big time producer or something like that in movies, and no longer with us now, but results of policies in that city. You know. Liam Malloy with an interesting comment there. I'm laughing. I love the chat. The chat's always gas for this. Been some amount of people here in the chat. Unbelievable. Let's keep having a look now. What's going on? Yeah, that's a good one there as well too. Stone says basic manners when you go and live in another country. Show respect for their ways and don't take over. Imagine rocking into Japan and going, right lads, this is it now. The Irish are here. You're gonna have to listen to us and you're gonna have to change your ways for us. That'd be wrong. And you see, I'm very consistent when I say that. I don't think Irish people should be rocking over to Japan and turning Japan into a new Ireland. You know what I mean? I don't think the Japanese should be bending to where will there. I think they should have their own country and their own traditions. It's actually a country I'd love to go and visit, purely because for that reason. I would be a foreigner in their country and I'd like to visit and see what it's like there and see what they do and how they do it. You know, they don't seem to have an awful lot of issues when it comes to that. They were wired to the aspartame stuff as well too. They're wired as well too to the likes of the sniffle stuff. They were wired as well too to this open immigration as well too, and they have their own language. You know, great culture. Protective culture as well too, and they really realise as well too, if they open up the gates, that's it, then it's trouble. Let's keep going here through that there. A lot of people are not a big fan of Mary Lou McDonald. Yeah, I think Mary Lou McDonald and Sinn Féin as a whole are in big trouble. You know, and I get all the time as well too from people. People are like, if voting did anything, it'd be made legal. It's not that I don't disagree with you. But the point is, is that you have to give it a go for everyone to go, all right, well, it doesn't look like this is going our way. You know what I mean? Like, you have to give. I think, honestly, I think the left are too cowardly. I think that they're too small a number to cause any sort of real problems if a right-wing party emerged. I really do. I think if a right-wing party emerged and it got big backing, big money funded behind it, I think they'd be in trouble. I think people would hear the message and go, I have a bit of that there. I definitely have a bit of that. You know, like, I like what Ireland Force is doing, and if they got huge backing, that'd be great. You know, to see that. The National Party as well too. People talk about them. The Irish Freedom Party as well too. People talk about them as well too. But you know, I've seen this. The Irish Freedom Party follow some strange accounts as well too on Twitter, and I'm like, what's the story about that? Don't get that. And the National Party, as far as they're concerned as well too, big mistake letting Philip Dwyer go. Huge mistake. You know, and that's just my opinion on that as well too. I'm not someone that's dictating what's happening or how things are running. But my viewpoint on it is that way. Let's keep going there now as well too. They should have a function on this stream here to get through this and say where you can see at Ninja Night. Be much easier then as well. People are talking about electric cars as well too. Yeah, the Sinn Féiners are driving electric cars allegedly, speculatively. Electric cars are another joke as well. That plays into this 15-minute series sort of stuff as well too. So let's have a look here now and see what's going on. Give me a sec there, guys. Yeah, so the electric cars, they're no use to you either as well. They're not any good because you can only drive so far as well with them, and you can't get too far other than, I think, did they say something like to the next county? I think maybe it's 2 counties away, and then you have to charge it. And that's if you can find a place to charge it. So that's not good. Let's keep going. Sean Max says the media fawning over Shane McGowan, but they effectively banned playing his most noted song, Fairy Tale of New York, because he says the word, you know what. They do it all the time. They're so duplicitous, they are. So duplicitous. They had a female on News 2 RTE Finolis, I don't know what you're saying there now. Angela Gardner says, when the Irish have gone, so will us. We support you 100%. We support you, man, from UK. You can talk a lot, though. Thank you. Derek Manis is keeping count tonight. 22 allegedly speculative. That's actually epic. Frank Barnes says the Lotus series got big because Sargon of Akkad setting the channel up. Okay, that's interesting as well too. We have to look into that a little bit more. Let's have a look now. Hibernian Wolf's in here, says hello, Ninja Night. Hello to you. Westman says brilliant stream. PEI missed some. You can always watch the replay. So thanks very much for being in here. Let's keep going. Let's see. Error only B1014. Now, have I not made you a mod as moderator? Yeah, you're in here now as well too. Standard moderator. Welcome to the wrenches. Error only B1014. Celebrities out of touch, but Irish celebrities might just pip the post for being the most out of touch of them all, to be honest. Oh, for sure. For sure. But you know what it is with this country as well too. It's small as well too, and there'll be loads of, I'm sure, loads of threats allegedly, especially that's 23 now, Derek, for careers. Frank Branson, Ninja Night, do you like fish? Do you eat tons of it in Japan? No. Especially after what I seen with what Robert F. Kennedy said about fish and the water, so I was like, Derek Man says the Japanese invited Godzilla, but the Greeks invented something else. Gojira. Hibernian Wolf says Rodiger Gorman bringing in military age Muslim men and giving them tents and tents to go camping in a cold snap. I always be singing, says Ireland Forces, very make America great again. Love them. It's the way to be, I think. I think it's the right way to go. Owen Lyons says, what about Elon's new big truck? Mad looking yoke. Yeah, it is, yeah. Pamsy Doodle 16 says, thank you, Ninja, and God bless. Thank you. I always be singing Ninja Night. Phil was messed over by a lot of people. Doesn't get the credit that he deserves, and he always sings your praise. Absolutely. I have to be honest with you. He was on Reverend Simon Sideways stream there last week. And this is the thing. This is the thing about Philip, right? He's on a massive channel over there, and for no reason at all, shouts me out. Like, I was like, that's mad. And so I hear him up, and I was like, listen, thanks very much for that. I appreciate that, you know. Like, on a massive channel there, and he's putting the points across. He's doing excellent as well. And I think it's super important as well too that more people are viewing what Philip is doing and what he's saying, you know, because he's just an average fella. We've had the conversations here on the channel before, and just a normal guy, you know what I mean? That's awake to what's going on and fully throws his hands up to be like Celtic Tiger years, you know, we took the eye off the ball, you know, fully on board with him. And for no reason at all, it's like, Ninja Knight there. And I'm like, Jenny Mac, thanks very much. Like, appreciate that. Westman in here as well too. Thanks very much. Sheepdog says there's a very pertinent point, Sean Mac. I forgot to eulogize him now, but discredit him only recently. Thanks for reminding me, Sean. Fusing Sean says, good night all. Have a wonderful weekend. And Frank Barnes says, I saw that show. Guys, thanks very much for being in here. We've nearly clocked in 3 hours on this one here tonight. Liam Malloy says, Ninja Knight, thanks for getting us together. Great work, Bill Bus. Go Rev Mila Malgut. Thanks very much. Simon Sideways is a good channel as well too. Sheepdog says there as well. Yeah, I checked it out as well too. Good channel. Very good channel as well too. Big following there as well. And he has his eyes on what's going on too. So appreciate that there, guys. All right. Look after yourselves. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you next week. Be on Thursday, 8 o'clock Irish time, as it is. And I think the next week then, I'm not sure if it's changed about again as well. I'll keep people in the know with what's happening. All right. Look after yourselves. God bless.